It's a great Saturday morning. And if you are not here with myself and Double G, I don't know what you're doing. Double G, you ready?
I'm ready. But if they're watching, that means they're here and everything is right.
So
let's get it on.
You already know it's going to be a great show. We got some special guests. We got some merger talk. We got some college football talk. We got some NFL talk. We got football, baby. So let's get it rocking.
Let's do it.
No time. What is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday to you all. Welcome into the Gridiron Podcast Show. I am Jersey the King. To my left, my guy, the one and only G double G, Gabe Garcia.
What is up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Happy Christmas Eve. You celebrate Christmas, man? It's been a crazy time, but it's all football, baby. This is my favorite time of year when it comes to football. I'll tell you that much. What up, everybody?
What's going on,
man?
What up, Hit? Is in the building already, starting his shit. How you Cowboys fans feel? Look,
I feel good.
It's only one game.
Hey, I feel good.
Listen, we can take our crow like the champions that we are. We haven't been champions since 94, 95. Just saying. But we can take our crow.
Yeah.
Just like we can dish it out, we can take it. So you don't worry. You do not worry. But it's going to be a great day. We got two special guests joining us today from the Bottom Line podcast show. Big Daddy Ed and Easy E. So happy to have them on today. So it's going to be a great show. It's not going to be a long show today. I'm going to let you guys know right now. Gabe does have to go to work. You know, it's Christmas season, holiday season. So we're going to get this show.
I need to stay. Y'all stay your ass home. I wouldn't have to be at work. Damn it.
Dirty. Dirty says
you're working late on the holidays. Yeah, because you're here.
Right. Come on now. Isn't that the worst? You're at work, busting your ass, and people who are shopping on Christmas Eve or Christmas Eve are like, "Oh, you're working late?"
Yeah.
If you wouldn't be in the damn store, I'd probably be on my way home right now.
Exactly.
All right. So, with that being said, let's just go ahead and bring them on in since we got Dirty trolling. We got the Queen. Good morning, Amanda. We got the Queen defending her father and her cousin. Dirty, don't start your crap this. Don't start your crap this morning, all right? But without further ado, let's go ahead and bring these guys in. Two of my favorite podcasters out there, Big Daddy Ed and Easy E. What's going on, guys?
Hey, guys.
What's up, guys? Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Dirty just can't help himself, can he?
No,
You
he is the master of clowns, and he chimes in with that. Give me a break.
And listen, you put him and my boy Hitting together. Oh, it's Troll City for those two.
I would expect nothing less from Dirty. Nothing less.
He won't stop.
All I want to know, Dirty, is where's my damn fries? I ordered it a half hour ago. Get them fries over here, man.
Now, it's been a trying week, I should say, in spring football. Let's just jump right into it. Gabe, Daddy Ed, Easy E, how do you all feel about the latest merger news that we've possibly will be receiving as an official announcement, but what's basically been leaked?
Possibly. Everything is possibly.
I mean, there's been no official announcement from, the USFL or the XFL league owners themselves.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what can we really go off of? Reporters?
I was reading an article. I'd have to go back and look at it here just prior to coming on.
See, I told you, you didn't give him an assignment, so he had to take it upon himself to come up with something.
And this article was talking about Jeff Badette, and had him on the show the other night, and he talked about the details and different things. But this article that I pulled up here is kind of, I don't know, slapping him on the hand a little bit about maybe why are you divulging information, or maybe you're divulging information before the actual leagues are coming out with it. Yeah, I mean, okay, but if according to him, and they did mention this in the article, if the Vegas Vipers are gone, then really he doesn't have anybody to answer to technically. So, but they're kind of saying, well, until the leagues actually officially announce, and actually come out, we got to kind of take this tongue in cheek. But my response to that is this. We talked about it, Jersey, earlier, and you were talking about 16 teams, and that's the way that spring football is going to survive. And I don't disagree with you, but I think regardless of where they end up going, I mean, we're at a point where it's like, excuse the language, but we got to shit or get off the pot. Like, we got players that don't know where they're going. If they are one of those teams that, is not going to survive the cut, well, what are they doing? How their lives are in complete, utter limbo. So why are we not getting to the point here? Like we've got, because the longer you draw this out, the less the players know, the less marketing we can do in those avenues that are still going to remain, whether they be USFL teams or XFL teams. Like, we got to get going here. Otherwise, you're already putting a fork in it before we even start the turkey, baby.
Yeah.
Like, let's get this figured out. What are we waiting for? That's my biggest beef with all of this. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm with you, Jersey. Yeah, I would love 16 teams. Do I think they're going to do that? No, it's not going to happen. I mean, I wish it would, but it's not. But
not in the first season.
No, but Ed, you Jeff talked about the other night.
Yeah, as much as I love spring football and I want to see it succeed, it's like, how many more times can the XFL marketing team get it wrong? And it's like, here we are. It should be about the fans. It should be getting people geared up to play, watch exciting football. And instead, what do we got? We got petitions going online trying to save their teams, which they should. Absolutely, they should. You got the Houston Roughnecks and the Houston Gamblers, one USFL, one XFL. You know that they're not going to have two teams in one market. So instead of just coming out, tell them the way it's going to be, and try and get both fan bases behind the Houston team, they continue to say nothing. So here I am. I don't have an ounce of marketing in my blood. But if I went up in front of the podium with the XFL and I said, okay, Houston fans, we know that there's a USFL and XFL team. They both can't make it. We want both fan bases to be happy. We want to take this spring football and go forward. So what we're going to do for the 2024 season, we're going to call it the Houston football team. We're not going to say whether it's the Gamblers or the Roughnecks. We're going to say it's a Houston football team for 2024. And then we are going to let the fans decide what their team name is going to be starting in 2025. Get the fans involved. Get them all pumped up about, hey, yeah, what should we name this team? You know, and just building that excitement. But instead, they just sit there and they let the 10 fans from the Gamblers bicker with the 20,000 fans from the Roughnecks, and they go back and forth, and they start petitions and everything. The XFL just continues, and the USFL and the UFL, whatever you want to call it, they continue to miss the boat. With something as simple as this, with a guy with a big-ass forehead that's shining right now, I can tell. If they would have, I mean, just imagine if I had 4 years of marketing degree under my belt, what I could come up with. But
Right.
it's like, it's not that hard, guys. You could have the fans so engaged by this point that we can't wait for spring football, and instead you got a fan base that just sits there and gets pissed off more and more every day because they continue to say absolutely nothing.
You know,
Yeah.
I think one thing that's become very clear to me at this point is that they don't care what the fans want. They don't care what the fans think. And from the jump, that's how you fail before it's even started. Because in a league that is trying to build up, excuse me, a consistent fan base, they have to understand they're not the NFL. The NFL doesn't care what the fans think either, but because of the history, because of how long people have been fans, you know, our emotional ties to the team, we still watch. It's not like that with spring football. Spring football, they need to get the fans engaged, just like you said. And the fact that, you know, they're putting these petitions out there, the Houston thing is a very, very good example. They don't care what we think. And that is why it will fail. And if all this stuff I'm hearing about the 8 teams is right, then I'm thinking it's dead in the water before it even starts, because there's no hype around it right now, just like you said. We're already getting into the beginning of 2024, and nobody knows what the hell is going on. Nobody. We're having to look at these leaks and speculate on all this stuff. And I really just I think the problem here lies in the fact that it was like Mike Tackett said in his comment about there being a draft. That would be the best thing. You push this to 2025, but at this point, it looks like it almost makes me feel like they don't know what's going on yet either. And because the fact that if you cared what the fans were thinking, guess what? You'd be feeding us some stuff, man. You'd be giving us some official news to talk about, something to get hyped about, to get people on board. And all this is doing is making everybody lose interest, because let's be honest, you know, we have the hardcore fans, those of us that love spring football, want it to succeed. But if it's going to succeed, you need the casual fan. And the way you get the casual fan interested is by building up some hype. And right now, that ain't happening. You know, we're hanging on a limb trying to support this league, this new league, and trying to support these teams and trying to get this thing rolling. And we don't even know what the hell is going on. So the way I see it, man, they don't give a damn what we think. And that's how you make this thing fold before you even get it opened up.
Welcome in, Sandy. Welcome in, Mike Tackett. Welcome in, Brahmasita. We are happy to have you guys here. And I agree, man. I definitely agree. Like Mike says here, let's get rid of these letters of intent. All these letters of intent, these players should be in a player pool. These players should be in a draft pool. I agree with that. That would make more sense. It would at least give them, as a player, some type of knowledge that, hey, you have a chance of being on a team. Whether it's going to be 8 teams, 16 teams, 10 teams, 12 teams, you have a chance of being on a team. You just have to get drafted.
So as they try as they try to explain how this is all going to go down with the draft and, you know, being able to draft XFL players, and then it goes to the giant pool for another draft. I mean, while they're trying to say all this and put some kind of method behind it that everybody can understand, then you look on Facebook and all you see is the Birmingham Stallions signing another player, Birmingham Stallions signing another player, and it's like, what the hell's going on? Are you having a draft? Are you getting rights to your own players? At the same time, you got teams that keep signing players, and it's like, what the hell's going on? Is there a free-for-all for certain teams but not others? I mean, they're bringing no direction at all to how this whole process is going to work.
Yeah.
Well, and it's that direction. Quite frankly, it's that direction that worries me about, the success of spring football. I mean, as I look back on last year and I look, kind of at the coming year here, I realize dollars and cents is what matters. It is what it is. I agree with you, Gabe. You know what? The fans, they constantly overlook us. The difference between the NFL and the spring league is the NFL is a marketing machine. And they market the NFL like it is America's game. It is it. You've got no better place to be on Thursday, no better place to be on Sunday, and no better place to be on Monday night than watching an NFL game.
You notice he said America's game and not America's team.
Well, yeah.
All you got to say is America's team, and everybody knows what logo. Right?
Big blue star.
I'd never make that Freudian slip.
Make sure I get it close enough for you guys to see that.
That would never.
And that is a great point about the marketing, man, because marketing is everything. Most especially for a spring league that's trying to get. All right, let's go. Because I've been telling Jersey this, man. I've been saying it for a while now. If this fails, then you can never bring back spring football, because at this point nobody's going to trust it anymore.
Could they have been given a bigger softball though? This whole thing, this whole merger, this USFL versus XFL divisions and championship. If you want to talk merger and you want to talk going forward, could you have not had a bigger softball thrown at you from a marketing standpoint to knock this thing out of the park?
Yeah.
I agree. They dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They swung and missed wildly.
God.
It makes no sense. Like, just in this article here that Jeff Badette posted. Yes, I did post this. I reposted this, but it's, as you see, it is from Jeff Badette. The thing that trips me out a little bit, the new league may be created by the beginning of January 2024. Given this, I would highly recommend that all doctor's appointments be booked as soon as possible. Like, what do you mean maybe? What does this mean? You know what I mean? Like, all this subliminal talk, talking between the lines instead of just coming out and saying what it really is. Why do you think players are doing this? They're putting this out. You're giving out this information to the players. The thing that trips me out about all this is the players think about the fans more than the league owners think about the fans.
Oh, yeah.
Because the players are actually leaking information instead of the owners just announcing something.
At the same time, as I talk about the Houston Roughnecks Gamblers fiasco that's going on, at the same time as you talk about teams being put on the sidelines, for future expansion, you could have played that to the hilt. You could have come out by now and said, you know what, Vegas, you know what, Seattle, sorry, but for cost reasons this first year, we need to rein things in. We need to be efficient. But Vegas and Seattle, be ready, because in 2025, 2026, we're kicking off a Western division that's going to be Seattle, Vegas. It could be Reno, Oakland, Portland, you name it. But our goal is to have 4 locations on the West Coast, and we're going to blow the western side of this map up, and get everybody riled up that, okay, we're not in right now, but here we go, baby. We're going to have a team and get everybody behind them. But instead, it's like, well, we're going to keep it here in the east side of the state. There's Seattle and Vegas are way out there, and then not say a word about it.
Yeah.
And those fan bases just continue to get more and more pissed off. It's like,
Ed,
it's not that hard.
Ed,
Now, you
quit
guys,
making sense. Quit making sense.
Mhm.
Because since the
Yeah.
beginning of my involvement in my, love for the XFL and spring football, nothing makes sense to me.
Mhm.
I have watched numerous. I'm sorry, I was never a big USFL fan because, not having a lot of fans in the stands just drove me nuts. Like I feel like, and even Jeff said it the other night. He goes, players feed off the fans. They feed off the energy, man.
Yeah.
And watching a USFL game, I just couldn't get that feeling even sitting in my living room watching it.
the
But I
players are
love,
celebrating with the cameraman
yeah,
in cardboard.
But I love watching the XFL. There's nothing better than watching. I mean, I don't mean to bag up, but there's nothing better than watching a St. Louis Battlehawks game with 35,000 people in there.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing of it, the thing that I don't understand is from the time of my involvement in this and the time where I'm in on spring football, nothing has made sense. If we can sit here and talk about, listen, these are some simple things that the XFL could have done or the USFL, now the UFL could have done, guess what? Why are the people that are getting paid all this money to run this league not figuring this stuff out? Are we missing something? I mean, is there some kind of secret, book that they go by that none of us are aware of that says you can't do this? Because I'll tell you quite frankly, I couldn't even tell you right now, unless I, surf through the internet hole, where I could even buy a St. Louis Battlehawks hat.
Right.
Couldn't even tell you that. So what are we doing here?
Exactly.
Well,
Now, I got a question for you guys. How do you feel about the teams that they've selected? Now, we don't know exactly which Houston moniker is going to be used, whether it's going to be the Gamblers or the Rough. I don't know what's going on with this whole Houston deal. But how do you guys feel about it being, if this is what we're looking at? Arlington,
Well,
DC, San Antonio, Louis.
I'm an Arlington fan, so I'm okay with this. But I was also Breakers fan. It's kind of like okay, but
I think they're moving.
I think
Breakers back to
even as big a fan I am of the Renegades.
Oh boy!
When I'm looking at this whole 8-team team, it doesn't. I'm still not excited. I'm sorry, doesn't get me excited. Excited.
The one thing I would tell you, Jersey and Gabe, we talked about this the other night. The importance going forward is going to be this. Okay. Now, Vegas looks like they're on the outside looking in. Okay. But, and this is what, and Daddy Ed and I have talked about this at length. If you are a spring football fan, in order for Vegas to ever have a chance, we have to remain spring football fans. Like, I'm a Battlehawks fan, but I love watching other XFL teams, and I'll support the crap out of them because I am a spring football fan, and I realize if we get to this point, then we know spring football is going to stay. But until we get owners, you and I, Daddy Ed, Gabe, and whoever else, we can't afford to just be Battlehawk fans. We can't afford to just be Vegas Viper fans. We have to be spring football fans. And no matter what happens in this merger, no matter who makes it, no matter who doesn't, I think, we kind of have an idea. We still have to be spring football fans.
If we wanted to survive, we have to support. I was just going to get into that. If we want, like all this, I know a lot of people are upset. And if we look at all this information that's right here, one thing I can say that I do like, they're getting rid of the hubs.
Mm-hmm.
There's not going to be a whole bunch of 45 different hubs around the United States with no teams. At least every team has a home field from what it's saying. That's one thing I do like. But it's just they're so flippy-floppy. And with all this information that we are getting in just this little post here or this little email that Jeff Badette posted, in my opinion, if this is the way they want to do it, if this is the way they need to do it, let's say that. If this is the way they need to do it in order for spring football to survive, support it. If you love football, support it. If you love spring football, support it. That's all we can do from now. If this is the way it's going to go, and we have to lose 8 teams to start off with in this new merged league, then I'm sorry, guys. We got to support this, no matter how much we hate it.
The problem is, though, the problem with that thinking is they're saying they're going to support it anyways. Doesn't matter what we do. You know what I mean? So there's that. I get your side, and I agree with it. I do. But on the other side, when you look at what they're doing, like I said, they already don't give a damn what we think. You know what I mean? So if we support it, we support it. The problem is it's not going to grow unless they bring in those of us that aren't supporting it at the moment. And at this time, they're not doing anything to get that outside interest built up.
You want to talk about being cost effective as a league? Look at, they put $0 into marketing, zero.
Mm-hmm.
So who's doing their marketing for them? Your show, the Bottom Line show, the X-Band show, the B-Hawk Live show. All of us guys that are getting exactly zero, that are doing our shows for the love of football, that are keeping this spring league going. So, I mean, as much as we like to bag on them about not being smart, I mean, we're the ones doing the marketing for them. But it's like all you'd have to do is put 1 or 2 guys in place that get it, and you could be light years ahead of where you are right now.
Let me ask you guys something real quick. Let me ask you guys something. Do you guys feel like right now, how we're not getting none of this information? Obviously, there hasn't been a green light for whatever they know that they're doing to put out to us. Do you feel that there is one person right now that has the ability to say, okay, I green light it, put it out there? Or do you think it's kind of a collective of a board that's saying, no, we don't want y'all to put anything out there for anybody yet?
Go ahead, Ed.
No, go ahead, Derek.
Well, I don't, because of the mass confusion that we have, because of the, information here, information there, I really can't answer that because, I mean, somebody's got to be making decisions, and whoever that is not making decisions.
Yeah.
Like the buck, the buck has to stop somewhere. But where does that stop? Because we have been clamoring. I mean, Ed and I have talked about it for a long time on shows like, hey, we got to get something here. I mean, we want to get back to talking XFL or the merger, whatever it is. Instead, I love talking college football, but we want to talk about this. That's why we're here. But they're not giving us anything. And then the only information we really get is from a player with the players union. And then we get articles like I was looking at before saying, well, that may not be totally accurate, and should he be doing that? Well, so now we're going to muddy the water even more without a clear, concise decision.
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
Exactly. Why are we doing this? And my thing is, as league owners, what makes you think that this whole process and the way you're going about this process is going to be beneficial to you?
That's the biggest thing for me.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
If you sit here and you keep us in the dark with how many months till we have now until the season's supposed to start March 30th?
Yeah.
What the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
So then, we can only bring the fans back so many times, right? I mean, we can do our jobs and we can bring them back again and again and again with no continuity. But eventually, they have to help us.
Yeah.
And when it finally reaches that point where the fans leave and they're not going to come back, well, then they can't sit on the ivory tower and say, well, wait a minute, guys, come on, Mom, we can do better. I mean, you had a chance for how many years to do better, and you continued to just crap all over the fan base.
Yeah.
They're
losing trust. They've lost a lot of trust already.
Yeah, they've lost a lot
100%.
of trust, and they've lost a lot of hope. And when I say that, the hope that us fans have for different things to be played out in, as far as like the way the league is set up, the way they market, how they interact with the fans, as far as teams, players, and having those, like in 2020, how many fan days did we have in those 5 weeks, in those 5 short weeks? How many meet and greets did we have?
Oh my
That was pushing spring football into the future, in my opinion. The way Oliver Luck and Vince McMahon went about actually giving a damn about the fans, giving a damn about our opinion, giving a damn about what we want to see from this spring football league. If it wasn't for the pandemic, I believe Oliver Luck and Vince McMahon's 2020 XFL season would have still been continued. I believe that it would have still been moving forward, and we'd be at 16 XFL teams by now, in my opinion, because they came back in 2020 with a real plan, and it was set up correctly. As we've all sat here and talked about since the 2020 season, they did their job. The season would have been successful. We would have had a season 2. We would have more than likely had a season 3. And we'd literally be sitting in season 4 going into season 5 right now. Am I right?
Well, we can agree with you till the cows come home, but I know one guy that would be dead set disagreeing with you to the hilt. You know, Dirty talks on our show all the time about the fact that there would have never been a season 2 after the 2020 season. But I will say that 2020 season versus the 2023 season wasn't even close from a marketing standpoint. I mean, like I said, it's something as easy as buying my season tickets for 2020. I had the ticket guy in St. Louis on the phone with me for a half hour, going through the seats, trying to find that perfect spot that I was going to be happy. And turn that around to 2023, you had to enter in to be able to grab a ticket, and then it was nothing but a free-for-all. So in 2020, I sat on the 48-yard line in the middle deck. Couldn't have had a more perfect seat. 2023, by the time I could get in there to get my tickets, I was like 4 sections over, halfway up, and it's like, you know, so yeah, the marketing just 2020, they could bring the whole 2020 marketing group back and fire the whole 2023, and they'd be light years ahead on day one.
Yep.
You know, I think the biggest. Go ahead, Jersey.
Like Kenneth says here, the hope factor is very true, and it is. When your fans lose hope, your league has no hope to survive. It's just that simple. And I agree with you, Daddy Ed. If you take the 2020 marketing team and put that 2020 marketing team in place of the 2023 marketing team, this thing would go bananas. Bananas. Because people would be like, okay, everywhere I turn, there's something about the XFL. Everywhere I look, there's something about the XFL. When in 2020, bro, I don't know how many meet and greets there were and people were excited for. Actually excited. Oh, did you hear about the meet and greet for the XFL team out here in DC? Hey, did you hear about the meet and greet for the XFL team here in Tampa when there was the Tampa Bay Vikings? You know, just having that was exciting for people. They were interested. They were ready. Now we're like, what the hell is going on after we just had a full season? What the hell is going on? And another season is supposed to be coming.
Right.
You know, I was very on board with what you said, but now I got to say the jury's still out, because it was at a 2020 meet and greet that my daughter met Dirty. And now they're together. Yeah. So if those 2020 meet and greets, the jury's still out on whether those were a good thing.
Yeah, I mean,
like, I'm just keeping it real.
Oh, that's awesome.
Talk about doing God's work. Like, it's just like unreal. It just blows my mind.
I love it, Easy.
I will tell you this though. I think, to me, if I'm part of the marketing, and you know, I don't know how they would make this work. I mean, obviously, I always tell Ed, if I had a 4-year marketing degree in college, I'd be dangerous. But
yes, he did.
I think in order for spring football to maintain a viable position somehow, some way, we have to form this deal like it is almost the call it the G League of the NBA or whatever. We have to form this as almost of, okay, the last draft pick just went off the board. Okay, what is the next, after the practice? Like, what's the next guy? It's like, we need to get them into the league. Whatever it is, like, we need to tie this and allow, because apparently our guys can't figure it out. We need to tie this. What is he doing?
The only reason Jersey's laughing is because he knows what I've got to live with. Because at that 2020 meet and greet, who got on the phone and called my daughter and said, they're having a meet and greet here at Cyberg's, you need to come. I got to live with that fact every single day.
Well, first of all, whoa, let's stop the clock for a second. I'm not working. I want to know how I get brought into this conversation. Is what I want to know. I'm listening to the show while I'm working, and then I get brought up like I'm this big giant D-bag, which that's why my name is Dirty, because I am a big giant D-bag. No, you guys have said some stuff that's very, very interesting, and I want to, because I'm going to go back to work, so I want to talk about it. Jersey. We've seen, let's go to the fan engagement. In 2020, the fan engagement was great. The Battlehawks here in St. Louis literally had 42 meet and greets. And the X-Fan show at the time, which was what mine in Arlington show was called, was the X-Fan show, was at 40 of those. We were the grassroots movement. In 2020, it was about the grassroots movement. They embraced the fan bases, all of that. Now, fast forward to 2023, okay? Certain markets embraced their fan bases. And I'm going to straight out say it on this show because I don't care if somebody gets mad or whatever. St. Louis is an anomaly. St. Louis thought because we didn't have a football team, we were going to be this big, all high and mighty team. And look, if they would have just embraced the fan base, a certain individual would have embraced the fan base, we could have filled that dome up in 2023. Very first game, we could have put 55,000 in there because we were going to do it against LA. You got cities like in Houston where they embraced their fan base, went to their fans, had their fans come out, went to the little shows like Kellen Watkins' show, said, hey, promote this for us, right? You got them in San Antonio where they went to the Texans talking football and the horns forward and smoking guns saying, hey, promote this for us. You had it in Orlando with Corey Helvey doing a damn good job down there. Seattle, you had it with the mayor up in Seattle. In St. Louis, they didn't embrace the fan base because they didn't care about the fan base because they took it for granted because they knew they'd get the people. That plain and simple. Now, USFL on a different hand embraced every single one of their fan bases. They embraced them all. The Michigan, you got, the Shadow Panthers show about the USFL. You have Stefan and Zach that do their USFL podcast, and they embraced them. Let's hope that this new merger, and in my opinion, has taken major dramatic steps back. I understand why they did it, but they took major steps back by only having an 18 league. I get why they did it, but it's major steps back. And on your point of 2020, because I got to get back to work. On your point to 2020, Vince McMahon was ready to pull the plug after week 3. But now the reason why I don't think the XFL would have lasted was because now we've seen some things, Vince got in trouble. You just can't pay millions and millions of dollars to people to keep their mouths shut about doing certain things to them, Vince. Good job, Vince. But
right.
That's the reason why I don't think that, from everything I see now, that's why I don't think 2020 would have lasted, minus the COVID, just because of the personal issues that Vince McMahon had. So, and I just got one more thing before I go.
Oh, boy.
Did you
Cut him.
Don't say Christmas isn't here yet.
I'm just saying, I met you in 2020 also at a few meet and greets. But yet, somehow, you just called me out on the air. How is that possible?
He has to deal with you.
Wait,
is that what it is?
He didn't call you out. He did not call you out.
I didn't call you out.
The jury is still out. The jury is still out.
Oh, the jury's still out on me. Oh, got it.
He didn't call you out.
I've been living with myself for 47 years, and I still think the jury's out on myself. So what the hell do I know? All right, but yeah, so that's just my 2 cents of everything. Look, and Eric had said it earlier. If we want this league to go past this new merge league to go past year one, then we need to get out there and support every single team. I don't care if it's buying a keychain, if it's buying a hat or something. We need to buy. Everybody needs to at least buy some kind of merchandise from each one of these teams to help this league survive. Because if you don't, it's not going to. It's been proven that it's not going to. So, all right, I love you. I'll talk to you later. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
My fries. Get them over there. They ain't worth the damn.
I've already eaten them.
No, but I see what he's saying. I mean, I feel that a lot of things that Vince did could have been avoided, of course. But I mean, it's Vince McMahon. No chance in hell. Let's just
right. Well, the product wasn't the problem. Obviously, it was Vince McMahon.
Yeah, and see another thing is, like, we don't know what would have happened after that season. You know, obviously, what you do is you look at what did we not do right? What did we do right in terms of a marketing standpoint? And would they have built off of that? Would they have corrected what they did wrong? Maybe built up a little more off of what they did right. The problem is with this year's, marketing, they basically said, well, look at what we did right. We're just going to crap on it and not do nothing now as we go into the next league. So it's taken a very opposite turn from where you would think the marketing standpoint would go. I mean, like I was saying, it's almost like there is no marketing team.
The only comment I would have made to what she just posted there would be that his pod is a hell of a lot bigger than my pod. That's all I got to say. Just saying.
No, but Gabe, I 100% agree. I really do. We don't know. It could have gone either way back in 2020. It could have been successful, or it could have just been a whole bag of shit at the end of the day. So
and I do think, going back to 2020, I think we have to bring. I don't know how we do this. I don't know if it's through marketing, because I watch the games. The play is solid, but we have to bring some sort of just legitimacy to spring football that really ties it to, listen, guys, this is like the AAA of baseball. These guys are right there. Like, I couldn't even give you the numbers. Why would the XFL not put the numbers out after the season or whenever it happened? Like, hey, we had 56 guys. We had 80 guys get called to NFL teams. Why wouldn't they promote that?
Well, they tried to last year and they screwed the pooch. I mean, that was their big thing last year, was they were going to be the AAA of the NFL that was going to get that player 54 in the league. And they couldn't even get that right.
Well, but here's the deal.
On the NFL, let's keep it real. The NFL signed over 100 USFL and XFL players just to keep them on a practice squad.
Yeah.
Except Brandon, automatic Aubrey. Best rookie kicker ever. Best rookie kicker ever. I'll give a damn what no one says he was not missed.
And that's another thing. Going back to the whole marketing thing, you look at the social media teams. When I followed this the whole year, I would look at the XFL social media teams. I was following every single team. Same with the USFL. And the USFL social media team was just much more active. They even still are now, because they do that. Y'all seen those posts that they do where, like, okay, it's NFL Sunday, and they pinpoint which players that came from the USFL players to watch that are going to be playing this week. So for some reason, everything else outside of the social media team of the USFL, they don't seem to know how to connect with the fans. And the XFL, I don't even know what was going on. There were times, even the Arlington social media team, after a game, I didn't see no posts from them for like 3 or 4 days. And, after they win a game, and I'm like, well, what are y'all doing? Like fans, this is how they're interacting with you right now. And I think something has to be done about that, because that is how you are going to get the fans more involved, at least for now, is by getting your social media teams active. But then again, like you guys were saying, They don't know what's going on, so fans don't even know which damn team they interact with at this point.
Can you imagine if all of our shows all of a sudden start reaching out to the USFL podcast, and pretty soon we're going on each other's shows and we're starting to draw each other in, starting to get to know the different fan bases. I mean, and that's really what we need to do between now and the end of March is somehow or another we need to get, there seems to be the XFL faction and the USFL faction. Somehow or another we got to get together to start pushing forward as a league. So
if that's the case, then this new merged league need to start paying us.
Yeah,
you guys have been doing the legwork since 2020.
Is there any doubt that we're doing this for the love of the game? I mean, is there any doubt?
Right. Yeah, it's
we are,
Saturday.
but damn.
Yeah,
I mean, when we're your marketing team, all these different podcast shows, if we're your marketing team, why the hell aren't we hired?
I swear, I was having a conversation with a guy the other day, and I said, I think the marketing team are 2 400-pound guys in grandma's basement eating donuts and forgetting to even post.
Yeah.
Like,
or wearing pajamas.
Yeah,
or wearing their pajamas and saying, "Mom, the meatloaf." Like, I don't even, you know what I mean? Like, what is going on here? Like, what are we doing? Like, let's get some swag out there. Let's get some. Let's really put the teams out there. Let's make sure our social media. If they would tie. Like, I think the smartest thing that any XFL team could have done. Period. End of story. I don't care if it's St. Louis, which I think is probably the worst of all of them, but clear to Seattle, Vegas last year. What more exposure could you get than saying, all right, here's the deal. Players. Pick 2 players a week. Okay, you're going on the Gridiron. You guys are going on the bottom line of the X-Fan show from St. Louis. You're doing this shit. I mean, my God, it would have been so easy. It wouldn't have cost them a dime. It would have been so easy because now they're tuning into these shows. I mean, like the other night, we had Jeff Bennett on. It was awesome. Yeah, like that's a player that is giving us information. You're interacting with those players. It's like that. I know that's not a meet and greet, day at the park, but it's still those guys having access to players, having actual access to an XFL player, because the teams don't do it.
And he's not even a battle hawk, and look at all the fans he's got just in St. Louis. Now having him on. I mean, we had one player
he has around the United States just as a player.
We had one player in St. Louis that we had to beat to death, and he even come to an event of ours in September because that was the only one that would, I guess, defy the St. Louis Battlehawk marketing team and come on our show no matter what. But we tried to get to know the player segments, and we tried to get players to come on the show, and they'd say yes, boom, just like that, they'd say yes. Then they'd have to go clear through the team, and then all of a sudden we didn't have them. And it's like, guys, this just isn't that hard. So
it's really not.
It could really come down to, like, if they're afraid of what you're going to ask, fine, let's screen some questions before he comes on. You know what I mean? And just make it that much more simple, for the league to agree to it, and for making sure we're not putting out questions that's going to reveal some information that they don't want, whatever that is. They make it much more difficult, like you're talking about, Ed, by doing that, like by putting these restrictions and telling the players, no, you're not going to go on that show. Well, guess what? Then he's not going to be on any show, and you're going to lose any type of free promotion that you have right there.
But what does our shows offer? Our shows offer anything but the norm, right? So they go on these TV interviews, and it's like, how are you preparing for this week's game? Or, the canned questions. They know when they come on our show, baby, the questions are coming. I mean, I even asked can my man Kevin Atkins come on? He's the first guy in my ULU Hall of Fame. One of the questions I asked him was top or bottom. Something as simple as that.
America wants to know.
America wants to know. And you know what? Hearing his answer makes him an instant fan
There
favorite.
you go.
Everybody can relate to him. Everybody wants to see him. Everybody wants to go watch him. But the fact that we asked that question probably meant that for the next 5 times we requested an interview, they said no, because they wanted to be able to see every question that we were going to ask before we asked it. And that's just not what our show is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't
Far be it
regulate
for us
our
to-
voices.
Yeah, far be it for us to humanize the players.
Yeah.
Yeah, far be it for us to do that. I mean, geez.
They can go on ESPN, the Stephen A. Smith show. They can go on all these different podcast shows with celebrities and be asked all type of questions. That's what kills me. One thing that kills me is, why the hell didn't the Arlington Renegades get a damn parade like the Birmingham Stallions got? These fools marched down their whole city. They marched down the street in their city with a parade, celebrating their championship. Arlington Renegades didn't do any of that. The XFL did not give them anything like that.
Well,
What are we doing here?
Well, one thing we got to find out about Birmingham with this new league is how much of an advantage do they really get? Because 9 times out of 10, whenever you see a signing of the good players, it's always Birmingham Stallions. So what the hell's the deal? Is there even how about the other teams in the USFL? Do they ever get a chance at a player, or is it just Birmingham sitting in their fat and happy office signing whoever they want to sign?
Memphis has been doing a lot of signings too. I have been seeing that. Memphis has been doing a lot of signings.
Oh, baby, the I-55 series is coming up this year.
And I guess it's because they are one of the teams that'll be in the new league for the first year. So, I mean, it hurts. I'm going to keep it 100 with you guys. It hurts to even have to say that we're possibly only getting 8 teams out of 16 to start this league. But when it all comes down to it, guys, like I said earlier, if we love football, sadly, we got to support what we're getting right now if we want to see it succeed. If we want to see these players that we fell in love with, watching them on these different XFL and USFL teams, if we want to see them be able to be on that field, because we know damn well they're not going to the NFL right now. But if we can see these players on the field playing football, watching a sport that we love, regardless of if it's spring, NFL, NFL Europe, CFL, doesn't matter. If it's football, why not support it? Do we all want to see spring football survive? Yes, of course we do. Is it going to survive? We don't know. But the only thing we can do right now, sadly, is just support whatever crap they're giving us. And it sucks, but we have to, because at the end of the day, if we want the XFL, the USFL, or these two leagues merged together as one to survive and to last for the next 10, 15, 20 years, sadly, we have to support this first year of 8 teams. And it just sucks because we're not seeing The Rock put any extra money into the XFL to help it succeed. He's out here going out and buying no-name MMA fighters multi-million-dollar mansions.
Well, if you ask me, it looks like he might not even be part of this because he's starting to separate himself from all of
Good.
So
good.
Yeah.
That's
Because
why you're
he
not
doesn't
seeing
do
anything from him.
anything anyway.
That's why you're not seeing anything from him, though, because he's basically like, hands are clean, I'm done. You know, Dane
what did
is
you
the one
do?
that's pushing it, but
But what did you do in this league?
well, I mean, come on, let's be honest, bro. I've told you this before, Jersey. All he was a celebrity face for the promotion of the XFL. That's
What
all he
promotion?
was. That's
What
all
promotion?
He was. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're 54.
All everybody was saying was, "Oh my God, The Rock's involved. We got to watch it." Or at least that's what they were
He
hoping.
was a player
everybody would
54
say.
that didn't
You
make
know
a
what I'm saying?
53-man roster.
That's what they
Right.
were hoping everybody would say, that just seeing his face on there was going to be
30
enough to draw all the eyeballs, man. And,
And like you
35,000
constantly said,
35,000
Gabe.
35,000 fans in St. Louis. How many times did The Rock come to St. Louis, Ed?
yeah.
Mhm.
And the first, St. Louis didn't have a home game until week 4. Okay. And
Stupid.
he had made his way around the league to every first opening game for every team. So everybody went to that first game in St. Louis thinking The Rock is going to be here. And then he couldn't have fumbled the ball anymore. And you know what? So then the next home game, he could have made up for it and at least come to the second home game. Didn't even sniff St. Louis. And it's like you guys are the poster boys for getting it wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong.
And like you've been saying, Gabe, there was no real interest on the Rock's part from the beginning.
No.
Just having his name attached was good enough for him. When he kept saying, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to run a football league. You were running off of the tagline, I am player 54. I was on my way to the NFL and I didn't make it. I ended up being a professional wrestler. So I know what it's like to almost be with that foot in the door in the NFL and then no longer have that opportunity.
Yeah, I don't even know if there were any plans to bring him back after season 2 anyways. So into season 2, but at this point, well, their marketing face is gone. So
yeah,
now
going on AJ.
Yeah.
You know.
So I look at now, now what we have. According to reports, we got Arlington, St. Louis, DC, San Antonio, Birmingham, Houston, Memphis, Michigan. Okay. We talked about this the other night. So what are we going to see? Okay, because the USFL, let's face it, they're not used to having fans in the stands, but they are now going to play in their home cities. They're going to have a venue, and they're going to, they're going to bring fans in. We talked about, why did the USFL, come out ahead? I think somebody mentioned the other night, $7.5–8 million ahead, and the XFL lost money. Where we had, 35,000 in St. Louis, DC, especially the last half of the year, filled out 20 to 22,000 people. I don't know what Vegas attendance was, but I know San Antonio's attendance was phenomenal. How did we get fans in the stands? How did we get butts in the seat, but yet not make any money compared to the USFL, who had no butts in the seat? To me, was an unwatchable product because of that. How did they make money? So our question was the other night, how is this going to work? And I said, why would they, if they made money, why would they want to merge? Well, I think the answer is this. They see how the XFL can put butts in the seat, or the XFL can put butts in the seat. But clearly, whether it be the TV contract or whatever, like Ed mentioned tonight, the FS1. Well, that's different than watching a USFL game on NBC, or something like that.
Yeah.
So what I'm hoping, and you mentioned this before, Jersey, it's 100% hope. I'm hoping that the USFL's ability to, have that TV contract or be able to negotiate that part of it brings that to the XFL, and the XFL brings, the butts in the seats and stuff like that. And we do see success. We do see profitability to the point where, all right, now we're bringing on Vegas, Seattle, let's say in 2026, just throwing it out there. We bring in the West Coast League. I hope that's where it can go. Will it? I have no idea, because this just seems like, I feel like you got a bunch of guys behind closed doors, right? Should we do this? I don't know. Ask the Magic 8 Ball.
Yeah.
Should we do this? I don't know. Shake the 8 Ball. You know what I mean?
You gotta establish continuity. You gotta eventually have a year 2. You gotta eventually have a year 3 of the same thing, so that the fans feel like there's something they can get behind. You can't keep reinventing the wheel every year and expect fans to come back.
No.
And I think the biggest thing is they've got to find some way. And I don't know what this looks like. I don't even know if this is possible. They've got to find some way to tie or tag or be involved with the NFL somehow. Somehow there's got to be a relationship with the NFL. They've got to utilize that, or I think we're dead in the water.
Yes.
The problem with that is, if you allow NFL owners to own these teams in the XFL, it's done.
Well, the problem is, see, you have to find that fine line then, in terms of ownership or just a marketing agreement. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like the XFL started with it this past year. They had that little agreement, with the NFL. But the problem there is, again, like you just said it with the continuity. You know what I mean? Like, we all know this. What is one thing we all know as podcasters that they say? What is one tagline that every podcaster says? Anybody that's out there will give you, like, if you say, hey, what would you say to other podcasters? They would say consistency is key. Be consistent no matter what. That falls right in line with what we talk about: football, sports, spring league. Without the consistency, I'm sorry, but shoot it. It's dead, because the consistency is what's going to keep everybody interested. Like Daddy had said, he said, you have to have that thing there that's going to get the fans wanting to come back, because you can't keep reinventing the wheel, like he said. And without consistency, that's exactly the way it's going to be. And if you want the NFL to have any interest in having some kind of marketing partnership, they got to see some consistency, because the NFL is looking at them right now and they're saying, oh, hell no. Hell no. Look, that's just a bowl of shit that they're mixing in together. We don't want nothing to do with that. Nobody knows what's going on.
Can't even go to a season 2. And you expect us to put money in a marketing for you?
Yeah.
We are
they need to have consistency if they're going to have any interest from the NFL for marketing agreement.
Gabe, nail on the head. You know what, Izzy? Easy and I kind of reached that point where we weren't getting bored debating you, but
dominating.
You felt there was a win, or it was a sure win every time.
But now on a 2-on-2, and you got Gabe in your back pocket, he might be a game changer, man.
I know.
I'm gonna take that as a compliment from you, man. I appreciate that.
That's my secret weapon right there.
You clearly need Gabe in your corner.
I know I do.
Ed and I have to use our whole brain and not just half our brain.
Yeah, instead of half my brain tied behind my back just to make it fair.
That's why I gave my dog.
I appreciate that, guys. I do.
He's got my back. I've got his. If I fall off, he's there to pick me up. He's there to pick me up.
Got you.
See, that was I remember that when the AAF had a broadcasting deal with NFL Network. Yeah. That was intelligent on their part. Their owners just went about the whole thing the wrong way.
Yeah, I was disappointed because I really enjoyed the AAF, man. I really did.
We can just call it for what it is. The AAF folded because of themselves, not because of what they had in place. They had some really good things in place that was going to help them survive, but they didn't go about it the right way. And my thing with the XFL and the USFL is the XFL had the right mind frame by, hey, let's go and get a some type of agreement with our rules and all that with the NFL. That way, if the NFL starts incorporating some, they have to give credit to the XFL. That's what that deal was really all about. Let's just keep it real.
Right.
Getting their name out there as a difference maker or game changer in football. Hey, we've changed up certain rules that makes the game more exciting. If the NFL takes on those rules and implements them into their league, they have to give us credit for it. They don't give a damn about your credit.
No.
The NFL would have said, yeah, we just stumbled upon this. Just like they stumbled upon sky cams.
Is there nothing more boring than the NFL kickoff?
Oh, yeah. My
God. All it is just a lead in to the next commercial set.
Yeah, I've always told people they might as well just place the ball at the 25-yard line.
He kicks it into the 15th row of the end zone, and then they go to a commercial.
Place the ball.
Tell me if they did the XFL kickoff, if that would not make it a lot more interesting.
Absolutely.
Because when you can see guys like Kavontae Turpin and what's that dude's name from Baltimore that just ran it back to win the game against the Rams the other week.
Yeah.
Just imagine seeing those guys get more opportunities to return kicks.
Oh,
much more exciting kick returning would be again.
Look at you. Devin Hester would never be known in today's world.
Thank you.
Never be known.
Thank you. And that is something. See, the excitement of a kickoff return is to me much like the pick six, where it can completely change a game, which is what Devin Hester's thing was. Why I believe, he is that Hall of Fame returner, because it gave him an ability to change a game, man, like completely. Like, y'all remember the Super Bowl against the Colts, took the opening kickoff, man. Boom. gone.
Crazy.
And all of a sudden, everybody's watching. We're like, damn. And it made the whole thing exciting up until the Colts went on just to, do their thing. But yeah, I mean, that's the NFL kickoff. It's hilarious to me. I'm like, just put the damn ball at the 25-yard line if you're going to do
How
it.
many NFL games that come down to the nitty-gritty would be a lot more exciting if the team had the opportunity to do a 4th and 15 after their touchdown?
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, hey, and I got to give y'all, you know what, man? Damn, McCarron and his boys, they made that so much fun to watch this year. Every time they were like, okay, I think because it was the Battlehawks that pulled that off first this year, right?
Yep.
And they did it twice. They did it twice this season, I think.
It was a San
It
Antonio.
was-
They pulled the hearts out of the Brahma
Yeah,
fans in week
yeah.
1.
It was so exciting to see that, man, and then to see it lead to them going on to win. It was like, wow. And the excitement that builds, it's almost like
15
like
points
you're
in 2 minutes.
watching something that really matters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was
15 points
crazy.
in 2
I mean,
minutes.
how do you keep viewers letting them know that unless you have a 17-point lead with 2 minutes left to go, that game's still in question?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And while we're on the topic of talking about stuff like this, I've been pushing for so long that the NFL needs to look at the XFL's way of overtime, because it really made me feel like it was a playoff atmosphere, because they get, what is it? You get so many plays, and you're knowing each one of those plays actually means something, man. You're trying to get in the end zone.
Yeah, look at
It was like watching a playoff game. You know what I mean?
Look when Vegas come to St. Louis and they went into overtime.
Yeah.
Was that not a playoff?
That's the one.
To
That's
watch
the
the
one.
overtime?
Yeah.
Especially in the dome with all those people there.
I mean,
Yeah.
Rod Woodson lost his freaking mind that game, but no,
Crybaby Rod. We're not going to bring up Crybaby Rod. A grown-ass man crying on the sidelines, literally got tears rolling down your face because you're a horrible coach, and you know damn well you were just here because of your name. That's the only reason why dumbass Woodson, crybaby ass, was on our sideline as our head coach, because of The Rock and because of his name and who he is.
but that scene of that game, man, they go into overtime. The players are jumping into the crowd, running up the aisles.
And that's why I'm saying, like, I remember watching that and just thinking, because you hear the crowd in the back, and the guys are walking up to the line to do the next play. And I'm like, every single one of those plays in that overtime format, it just feels like if you're watching a big playoff game.
Right.
Every play matters.
So exciting. Yes, because every play matters. And when you got a crowd like St. Louis has in the background, just crazy, it's like, damn, why is the NFL not doing this for the overtimes? It is awesome. I dug it.
Because so far, they don't have to.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you got a bunch of sheep like me. I'll be the first to admit it. I've been a hapless Vikings fan for over 50 years. Every year I'm coming back no matter what. They can change the rules. I'm still coming back.
Yeah. It's
Sadly,
true.
yes.
It's true. We're gonna watch anyways, even if they don't change the format. Yeah, I got you.
Well,
I've
and
been
that
Dallas Cowboy fans since 1990.
Man, I'm sorry, bud.
Okay, I'm even through the 30-year gap.
I can remember going back to about the farthest I can remember back is probably early 80s, maybe 81. I was born in 77, so it's like as long as I can remember, I've been a Cowboys fan. And yes,
well then you missed it. You missed it. What made, as much as you guys like to tout that you're Cowboy fans, what made me hate the Cowboys the most was back in the mid 70s. So you both were still pipe dreams back then.
Mm-hmm.
When Drew Pearson caught that pass from Roger Staubach in the NFC Championship game, that was offensive pass interference, plain as day.
Yes,
and they didn't call it. And you know what happened? My dad was a Cowboys fan. So here I am with the grade school leather coat on, Minnesota Vikings coat on, and my dad's watching it in the chair, smoking a cigarette and having a beer. And when that play happened and Drew Pearson backs into the end zone after offensive pass interference, he looked at me and says, "Looks to me like you need to turn that code inside out." And just completely crushed my dreams. I've hated Dallas ever since.
Hey, if it's any consolation, in today's soft-ass league, that would have probably been called. So I'm just saying.
Who knows? It does know that you're right.
Oh, but then with the way the officiating is,
teams, they would have called it.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
True.
Depends upon whether you're an NFL darling team or not.
Right.
Like
if you factor into the NFL darling, unlike the Chicago Bears, they're going to do everything you can. I mean, I watch other NFL games and I see plays happen. I say to myself, if that's a Bears defender, that's getting called every single time.
There would have been so many towels on the field if it had been a Vikings game. You wouldn't even have been able to know what yard line you were on. There would have been so many penalty flags on the
I think that's been my issue with the officiating this year. Has been like, if you're going to go one way or the other, fine, but be consistent about both teams. And we've all seen that is not the case.
No, there are definitely teams that get better.
Yeah.
The big
What's going on, Rick?
What up, Rick? What up, Rick?
Speaking of the NFL, we're short on time today, guys, so I want to jump into this topic.
Yeah, we don't need Gabe getting fired. We need him to be on other shows coming up.
Right.
Now, next time we put Jersey on the bottom line, we're going to have make sure he's got Gabe. So
got to have his protector.
I'm with it, man. I'm with it. on the muscle. Let's go.
Gotta bring his muscle in so he can handle Easy and Big Daddy, baby.
Hey, it's all love, Jersey. You're my dog, man. You already know, man.
Always, brother.
Yeah.
Recently, this week, there was a big discussion between Cam Newton. Well, I wouldn't even say a discussion. There was a big blow up between Cam Newton and Kimberly A. Martin, a person who has never. Let's make sure we all understand this. Kimberly A. Martin has never played the game of football. Let me make sure we understand that this is a woman who's never played an NFL game, never played football in college, never been one of those tomboys who dressed up as a football player and actually played on a team. Cam Newton, on his 4th and 1 podcast, said there's a difference between game managers and game changers. And I don't disagree. Here's 3 of the quarterbacks he said are game changers. Dak Prescott, Tua Tagovailoa, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy.
No, didn't he call them game managers?
He said they're game managers.
Yeah.
He said those are good game managers. Now, he's not knocking a game manager and saying, oh, a game manager isn't a good quarterback or they aren't a good player. Basically, what he said is, you don't have to throw a touchdown every time. You just don't have to throw a damn interception. He said there's some elite game managers. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, several others, right?
So he's putting out guys who are actually among the greatest of all time. Well, like
this
they're game managers. Now, hold on. Kimberly A. Martin on Get Up said this about him. First off, let's move past the clothes and what he was actually wearing. That's strike one.
Yeah.
Then she says, Cam Newton, where are you in the 2023 season of the NFL, where it's a year of the backup quarterbacks? You're at home. You're not even on an NFL team. Bitch, what? She's my bitch. What? So because I'm not on an NFL team and I'm a former NFL MVP, former Rookie of the Year, former rookie record breaker, former whatever, in the NFL who actually played, I can't give an opinion on the game of football. But bum-ass Dan Orlovsky, who goes on First Take every damn day or every week, Mr. I ran out of the back of the end zone as a quarterback for the Detroit Lions, can sit here and have an opinion? Mr. I've never won anything in the NFL can have an opinion? You, a woman who's never played the game of football, but reports from the sidelines. You can report on it. You can have an opinion on football, but I can't because I'm not in the league right now. In your opinion, in everyone's opinion watching and listening, who is more in the wrong? Cam Newton for saying there's a difference between game managers and game changers. And we're talking Patrick Mahomes. We're talking Jalen Hurts. We're talking Lamar Jackson. We're talking quarterbacks who actually change the complexity of a game with their play alone, not needing their supporting cast. Those are game changers, and I agree with that. Game managers are more like my quarterback, Dak Prescott, more like Brock Purdy. They manage the game the right way and put their teams in winning situations.
But the problem with that is there's a fine line for every one of these quarterbacks. Like, let's take Dak Prescott for a minute, okay? What was happening the first part of the season, quarter of the season? What would I tell you, Jersey? Every week he's managing the game because of the play calling. Just don't turn the ball over. What happened when things had to change? He had to elevate his game back from game manager status because they started to having to put points on the board. Okay, a game manager would not have been able to elevate his game in the middle of a season the way he did. I think Dak's somewhere in between, if that's fair to say. He's somewhere in between. We've seen him be able, like the Seattle game, be able to take the team on his back in a shootout. But we've also seen where the defense has had to carry it, and his thing is just don't turn the ball over. You know what I mean? Take the little checkdowns. So my jury's still out on him with that. Brock Purdy, I'll go into Brock Purdy. I've talked about it enough. I mean, come on. Jimmy Garoppolo took that same damn system to a Super Bowl. Okay, that is very quarterback friendly. You don't have to do too much. It's not about developing quarterbacks there in San Francisco.
Hey, I would normally at this time butt in and start arguing with you, but I know this is like Eazy-E's area that he's going to lose his freaking mind.
Well, and I'm not knocking Brock Purdy.
I know.
I'm not.
I've
seen he's actually played better this year than I did expect him to. I expected him to have a little bit of a kind of backup season because now the teams had film on him and stuff. But let's be honest, guys, Shanahan's system is not based around the quarterback. It's based around the playmakers and that defense. And as long as you're a quarterback that can go in there and competently make the third down throws when you have to, like a game manager would, get the ball to your playmakers, they're going to do the rest for you. But one thing that he has done is he has grown a lot. And this is the type of season, though, that could help him grow beyond where
we got to let the man talk. I don't want him to have a heart attack right before Christmas.
I'm sorry.
Okay. There's a vein right there. I see a vein down
he's right here. I'm just going to sit there and I'm just going to go ahead, Easy.
Let me tell you, and I'll try to keep my hands out of the screen, but I'm going to tell you this. Okay? What Cam Newton said, and here's the deal. Cam Newton is a self-promoter. Cam Newton is bitter that he is not in the league somewhere. But I will tell you, I can tell you a lot of game changers. Okay, there's a knock that comes with the term game changer, because I've seen a lot of those game changers come in and screw their teams over. I think most people would say that, you know what, Brett Favre was a game changer, but he threw just as many interceptions his career as he did touchdown passes. Could Brett Favre be a game changer?
2009 NFC Championship.
But yeah, let's talk to Ed about how awesome Brett Favre was when he threw across his body and threw the pick and doomed the Minnesota Vikings from going to the Super Bowl. So you can take the game changer or the game manager terms and throw them out the window. Now, we'll go to Brock Purdy. Everybody wants to bag on him. That, oh my God, you know what? I can go back to Kurt Warner and I can show you what Kurt Warner was dealing with back when he won the MVP with the Marshall Faulk, the Torrey Holtz, and all those guys. But I could show you, if I had time, if I had my homework, I could show you play after play after play after play where Brock Purdy makes a spectacular throw. And here's another thing. Okay,
You watched Dak Prescott's game against Buffalo, as I'm sure you did, and I did as well. I had the Dallas Buffalo game on TV, and I had the San Francisco Arizona game on my phone, and I'm watching them both. And I will tell you this: I would give anything to have Brock Purdy's accuracy, because when I look at a quarterback, I look at accuracy. Okay, everybody wants to say yards after the catch. Oh, Brock Purdy only has this because that's crap.
Well, they are top 4 in the league in yards after the catch as a team.
I will tell you, in 2020, Aaron Rodgers, MVP, right?
Mm-hmm.
His yards after the catch percentage was 52, I think 52.4, and I have it right in front of me. I had it the other night. 2021, Aaron Rodgers with the MVP again, correct?
Yes.
His yards after the catch went to 52.7, so it was actually up a little bit. 2022, Patrick Mahomes, MVP, correct? His yards after the catch was 54.6 yak yards. This year, Brock Purdy sits at 48.6 or 7. So you can say that it's other guys bailing Brock Purdy out, but if you watch his throws, I'm the weird guy when I watch an NFL game. When I watch an Eagles game, do you know who I watch? I watch their center. Jason Kelce is nasty.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. I love watching what that guy does in the trenches and how other teams' defensive linemen, they try to avoid him, man. Like they don't want nothing to do with him. So I watch different aspects of the game. But the thing that I watch about Brock Purdy, and I'll tie it to Dak Prescott against the Buffalo Bills. Brock Purdy hits his guys in stride.
Mm-hmm.
I watch Justin Fields every week. That guy, Brock Purdy is throwing in a 1.5-foot hula hoop. I feel like Justin Fields is throwing in about a 6-foot hula hoop and just hopes to God that the receivers catch it. Well, that can only be the difference. A thrown ball can only be a 3-foot difference. But guess what? When Brock Purdy's hitting them in stride and they're able to turn it up that seam and score the touchdown, everybody wants to say, well, it's only because Deebo Samuel's amazing. But you know what? Brock Purdy put that ball where Deebo Samuel catches it in stride and he hits that seam and it's out the gate doing 98, baby. Where I watch.
If he ever does throw an off pass, he has the receivers who can make those catches.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It doesn't have to be in stride. They can make those catches and still make something happen.
I mean, let's keep in mind that 3-game losing streak came without Deebo Samuel, who's who's probably leads the league in yards after the catch.
But I will tell you this. I do think not only did Brock Purdy lead them down and their kicker misses a 41-yard field goal against
that was
arguably the best defense in the league in Cleveland.
They are.
But I would also say that, you talked about it, Gabe. I was expecting him to have a hiccup. Well, my God, he's not. I mean, everybody's going to have hiccups. I can show you some of the greatest quarterbacks on the planet. They had hiccups at times.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, on average, Brock Purdy's accuracy rate, and I don't know what the numbers are because I don't have them in front of me, but I bet his accuracy rate is through the roof. That's Brock Purdy. That's not Deebo Samuel. That's not McCaffrey. That's not Ayuk, who's been a great, addition to Samson that nobody kind of knew about. But
Brock,
I would tell you his accuracy rate is on point.
He don't have to put the team on his back. So he doesn't have to be a game changer. That's the difference between Brock Purdy and having that conversation. He doesn't have to be a game changer because he has game changers on his team.
I get the fact that it's not really fair to put that on him because the Niners are where they are. Why? Because the entire team. You know what I mean? That's why they are the Super Bowl leading team in the NFC right now. So Brock Purdy is really doing basically what he's being asked to do. Whether, like I said, third down comes, he hits that long ball and hits Ayuk in stride, like you said. And that's why I say you could be a game manager. We've seen some very accurate game managers. Okay, as far as Brock Purdy goes, though, I think this season he's grown more than regressed. What I expected, a little bit of regression.
100%.
I got to be honest. He has grown as a player, as a quarterback. And I really am interested to see what happens though between him. I still believe that Christian McCaffrey should be the MVP front runner right now, but we all know that's a quarterback's award.
Right.
But I mean, it is really hard to argue with the Purdy thing. And when Cam Newton said what he said, I'm like, okay, you're taking quarterbacks that are actually Super Bowl contenders right now and putting their name. See, Jared Goff, I can see. Because I think most of us that have seen this, Jared Goff is actually he's elevated by the talent around him, obviously, like most quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But when he's throwing interceptions, they're losing ball games. You know what I mean? He doesn't have the ability to come back from it, and instead I see him, it just spirals. So,
and Kyle Shanahan's offense has been one of those offense that if you get them behind, it's hard for them to come back and win.
I think the stat on that, when they're losing by like going into the fourth quarter, I think they were like 1-20 or something like
26. They're like 1-26 or something.
So that team is based on, look, put us ahead. And like when they went into the Eagles game, of course, I was going for the Niners because Eagles are my most hated squad. And my thing leading up to that game was I said, if you are the Niners, because the Eagles are this year's Chiefs. They are the official, the referee's darling this year. That's the Eagles. I told everybody what the Niners got to do is they got to get up big and not look back. Do not let the officials decide their game. That's exactly what they did. So when the Niners get up and they have the capability of getting up big on anybody, they can get it done, but they do have a hard time. Brock Purdy does have a hard time bringing the team back. Not that he's been in a lot of the situations. I get it. But when the defense struggles, the offense kind of struggles with him.
Well,
now, here's my main question, guys. Sorry. Here's my main question.
Okay.
Between what Cam Newton said and Kimberly A. Martin addressing and attacking Cam Newton and not even arguing his point, who was more wrong in this situation? Cam Newton for categorizing quarterbacks, putting them in, oh, well, he's a game manager and he's a game changer, in my opinion, because he did come back and say all this is opinionated.
Right.
Everything is opinionated, which I completely get. He's entitled to his own opinion. But was he wrong for his opinion, or was Kimberly A. Martin more wrong for just attacking this man on national TV and not even addressing or arguing his point about game managers, game changers? Yeah. She didn't bring out no stats. She didn't say, well, this, that, or the third. Well, hey, Brock Purdy's been doing this, or like Gabe just brought up. Brock Purdy has done this, and this. And this is why I can argue the fact that some people may look at him as a game manager and some people may look at him as a game changer. Jared Goff does this, and this. And this is why some people classify him as this. And you know what I mean? He said, look at his clothes. We just going to move past the outfit. You're not even on a team. Yeah. You're sitting at home tweeting from your basement, basically is what she's saying, like the guys who are telling me to go back in the kitchen. Was she wrong for just attacking this man personally?
Well,
not actually addressing or arguing his point?
She's 100% wrong because she didn't come back with, like Gabe and I just had, we had numbers. We had like, this is why I feel you're wrong or this is why I feel you're right. She attacked him.
Yeah.
And whether you like Cam Newton or not, that is irrelevant. He has earned the right. He has earned the right to have an opinion. Because I will argue, Cam Newton was a game changer. Cam Newton could put the Superman cape on. He could do some bad things. There was good Cam, there's bad Cam. But when good Cam put the Superman cape on, I'm telling you, man, you better Katie bar the door because that dude was going to rock some stuff. So
he even said it. Yeah. There was times when I did it, and I was a game changer, and there was times where I didn't, and I was considered a game changer.
That's why the Superman thing was so fitting for him because there were times he was literally Clark Kent out there. And he couldn't get out of his own way.
100%, he couldn't get out of his own way.
Like you said, he was a game changer. There were times where this dude would put the team on his back.
It's like he went to the huddle and said, "Listen, boys, just get out of my way. We got this.
Block. Just block.
Just block. Give me time. We got this." Okay. So because of that, dude has earned whatever opinion he wants to have on game manager, game changer, whatever.
I agree.
In her case, if she would have come back and said, listen, I categorically agree or I categorically disagree with him, and here's why, then I've got no problem. But if you're just going to personal attack somebody, like it would be like us coming on and saying, listen, you know what, Jersey, I don't give a crap what you say about Brock Purdy because you got a freaking star on your head and you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Well, what good does that do? That's not offering anything other than, hey, Eazy-E hates the Dallas Cowboys, and he's just going to attack Jersey for being a Cowboy fan, and he's not going to offer any argument as to why he feels Brock Purdy is this. Well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
so
you know what? Her response reminded me of We've all been there. All of us have on social media. When we get into these comment sections and we're trying to talk some football and we're throwing out numbers or we're throwing out whatever, and then you get that person that says, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just an idiot. You're a Cowboys fan or whatnot," and just look at you. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, but bring me something to tell as to why I'm wrong, other than just trying to do. When it gets to the personal attacks, that means you're just a troll, and I can't take any football talk from you.
And on the flip
I'm
side,
done with you.
yeah, and on the flip side, anybody that knows Big Daddy Ed, I mean, I just bleed fashion, right? So I think, being a aficionado like I am, what would be the bigger test is having Cam wear his outfits, and then he throws them in the mail to me, and then I put them on, and it can be the true test of what aficionado really is. If it looked dumb on me, then it probably isn't the right look for him either.
Because he could have came back and personally attacked her.
Yeah.
Although
Right.
I will
You're a
say,
black-
they probably would have to do a little string. What do they call that? Seamstress work on them before I could ever get them on.
The problem here too lies in the fact that I just talked about the social media part of it and trolling. Like when I want to, and I'm sure you guys are the same, I could say, all right, you know what? I'm going to take 5 minutes then and just troll you back and make you look stupid if I want to. But where her platform is, I'm sorry, that's not social media. Like her platform is something where if you're going to come at somebody like this, you better come with some facts and you better come with some good logical reasoning as to why you disagree with this man. Not just like, oh, look at the way he looks.
Yeah,
He's wrong.
The whole purpose, Gabe, is this. I threw out some numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You had numbers.
Mm-hmm.
People can decide, who are listening to this podcast and who will watch it later, they can decide based on what we talked about. They can make their own opinion.
Yeah.
They can agree with you or they can agree with me or whatever. But it wasn't like I said, geez, if you people are watching, Gabe is the biggest moron up here that you could possibly imagine because, one, he's a Dallas Cowboy fan. That's not kidding. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't do any argument. That doesn't do any debate any good. If you can't bring it, I think she is very weak. You can even throw away that never played the game ever. If that's all you're going to do is attack this man, who you don't know, if you didn't watch that man play, then you clearly don't know. If the best you can do is come back and say, but aren't you in your basement? Well, what the hell is that?
You know what? I wish you talked about throw out the didn't play football because there's a lot of women in this, in ESPN, all the stuff that know the game. I would love to see somebody like Mina Kimes be the one to come at her and be like, look, you're making females look bad. Now let me break it down for you because Mina Kimes is one of the best football minds on TV right now. And
100%.
So it's like, yeah, like you just said, this was just stupid. It was stupid. Like you had no logical or intellectual response, and instead you came back and sounded like some 12-year-old troll on social media.
Yeah,
that's the way it
You
sounds.
sound like a bitter woman who he never gave a chance to.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's what she sounds like. Look how he's dressed. Let's just move past how he's dressed. Let's move past the fact that you're a black woman that originally had black hair and now you're walking around with blonde weave. We can attack you. How are we going to do that? We're talking about football, not what you're wearing, not the fact that you ain't got your real hair.
Yeah. Well, and it's the thing that irritates me the most when I watch any show, and I watch the sports talk shows from morning till about 3 o'clock. Until it's been so repetitive that I can't take anymore. But when I look at those things, at least those guys, whoever it is, at least Colin Cowherd, I can agree with them or I can disagree with them.
Yeah. But I like Colin. Not to cut you off, just real quick. I like Colin, and I think we all would agree though. He always, like you said, he's got numbers, facts, reasoning behind it. But go ahead.
When he comes at something. He's not just coming at something because he decided today, well, I'm going to hate this guy. Yeah. He comes with numbers. He comes with a sense of reality. Now, do him and I agree on Brock Purdy? No. But you know what? I appreciate and I respect his opinion because he's not just throwing stuff against the wall to see what sticks.
Exactly.
He is bringing something to the table that you can either agree with. Oh my God, we got Cam Newton on the show, everybody. All right,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Cam Newton to the Gridiron Show today.
You know, had to get out my.
But
speaking of ugly ass hats, there's one right there.
You know,
Thank you.
we
I
was
like it.
gaining the respect of America with this show, and we was gonna, even have to talk merger of our shows. And then he just threw it all under. I mean, he just right under the truck right there.
I mean, and I
ladies
think
and
I should
gentlemen,
go.
my co-host, there he is, Jersey.
I wondered why he blanked that screen out. Now I know. He's got 2 or 3 people behind the scenes, and he's doing a wardrobe change in the middle of the show here.
Yes, sir. That's what I do, baby. No, but I just wanted to get you guys' opinion on that. That was my topic of the week topic. And I just really wanted to know how everyone feels about the personal attack and not even because if you guys notice, Easy, we both watch, First Take and Get Up and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she hasn't been on all week.
Yeah. I wondered what was going on there.
Mina didn't even get a chance to rip her ass up because when Mina was on First Take, Kimberly wasn't there.
Right.
So my whole defense for this, I'm gonna take Cam Newton's side because at the end of the day, he didn't say anything wrong.
No, he may disagree with certain things he said, but I mean, hell, like it was like Easy was saying. There's people watching this that are disagreeing with us on this or that or whatever, but doesn't mean he's wrong. It's his opinion. Her reaction on the other side.
Nothing is worse. Nothing is worse. I mean, here we go. We just blew a great show up because you had to go all Cam Newton on us with that ugly ass hat.
That's right. Yep.
Hey, just so you don't feel too bad, Jersey. JP, my boy Jesse, who just said that. I told him yesterday, my birthday had just passed, and my girl got me the Dallas Cowboys bag. It was the Crown Royal box, limited edition, came in a Cowboys bag. You know what JP's first words out of his mouth were? Oh, so you're gonna tell me that Crown Royal tasted like shit? I was like, come on now. So don't feel bad, Jersey.
But seriously, when you're doing these things, and Big Daddy and I talk all the time, football, whatever. Yeah, I said that was one of the reasons that the XFL was so intriguing to me because one, we could actually, him and I have never had the same team to root for.
Okay.
I'm a Bears fan. He's a Vikings fan. We've both equally suffered.
We both hate the Packers, though.
But we do.
Hey, the enemy of my enemy, right?
That's right. If Lambeau Field blew up tomorrow, I would sleep well.
If they come out with the atom bomb in the shape of Wisconsin, and they could drop it and just take out the border, perfect. To be another Great Lake.
I would lose zero sleep if they said somehow Lambeau Field blew up last night. It's unsalvageable. Oh.
We just lost Wisconsin. Oh yeah, but it's Lake Wisconsin now. That'd be perfect.
If I had that same box that Gabe was talking about wrapped in all that Dallas Cowboy crap, you know what? That would be the smoothest drink if they said Lambeau Field.
You would celebrate.
I would celebrate with a box of Dallas Cowboy Crown Royal, baby. That's exactly what I would do.
Dallas has been whooping the Bears' ass for years. So,
what I getting back to what I was talking about is like, so the XFL gave Ed and I reason to root and pull for a team, but now it's become more than that. But I think in whether we're debating the XFL or the new merger or college or the NFL, anybody, and I think Kimberly Martin's probably feeling some of that wrath right now. I don't care what you're talking about. We don't just get on our shows, and Ed knows this. I'm a researcher guy. Man, when we're on shows, I've got numbers for you.
Me. I feel you.
Well, I just got to screw with him and then wait till the last minute before I tell him what we're talking about.
Yeah, he hates it because I got notes after notes, baby, of whatever we're talking about, just to try to because I hate when I watch the comments come across, whether it's on our show, this show, whatever. Oh, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Well, why?
Yes.
Why is that the dumbest thing you've ever heard? Because, we have a platform. and we have fan interaction, whatever. You know what? Tell me why it's the dumbest thing you've ever heard. Give me some substance with why you're making that statement.
Exactly.
You know, I can agree with Gabe or not, but I will tell you this. I know, just being on this show for an hour and 40 minutes, Gabe knows his stuff. I can agree with them or not.
Appreciate that. Likewise. Yeah,
but that's irrelevant. If you bring an argument to the table, you better back it up, or I'm going to eat your lunch.
There you
Exactly.
go.
That's why Gabe's willing to get fired today. He just can't get enough of this show. He's going to show up, and they're going to say, "Where the hell?"
Y'all gonna see me on a minute. I'm like, hold on, guys. And JP's in the comments. JP, you saw nothing. You know that. JP, like, if you ain't gonna be there, I'm calling in too.
Gabe had car trouble, man. He had 3 flat tires. What was he supposed to do?
And
then when
one of
6 to 3 flat tires, the 4th one went bad. So I mean,
I tried to limp that baby in, man, but it just.
I tried to get to work today. It's just hard.
But that's always the biggest argument that I have with people. It's like, you can't just finish the story with, "Well, you're an idiot." Like,
yeah,
there's
right.
got to be some
give me
substance.
something.
And,
give me something.
yeah, and that's the
We
biggest
don't like
thing
the
that
way
I
you
think
dress.
that.
We don't like the way you dress.
Yeah. I mean, but I think that's where the XFL, and I'm sure probably the new UFL is going to miss the boat on, is if they actually pay attention to these shows, the Bottom Line, the Gridiron, whatever it is. If you actually listen to the conversations we have, and you actually see that, man, these guys are kind of on top of this stuff. How do we utilize that to promote our brand? I mean, my God, these guys are doing it for nothing. So how do we utilize that to promote our brand? I mean, I think they're missing the boat. I mean, I realize the NFL has everything.
Jesse must be your boss, right?
No, he's my coworker, but yeah, he knows what we're dealing with at work today, being in retail. That it's going to be madness. So.
Like, you better not leave me by my damn self.
Exactly.
See, Jesse's a no-nonsense boss.
Oh, I love it. That's funny.
Your ass better show up today.
Yeah, easy. I'm with you 100% on that. Easy, like I do that with Jersey. Like I'm working late on Friday, and I'll be texting him, "Hey man, what do we got coming up for tomorrow?" And if he gives me a topic that I'm not too sure about, boom, I start my research that night. I'm
100%.
1 o'clock, not because I want to come into this making sure I know what I'm talking about. And it's the same thing. Like if I'm just getting into a casual, one of those comment threads on Facebook, like something that some kind of troll post somebody puts up, or they're posting something. I'm like, okay, let me look. What are they posting about? Because before I go into the comment section, I want to make sure I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because you otherwise you got probably about 75% of your scrolling the comment section is nothing but troll talk. You know what I mean? So
yes.
I try to find those ones though, where I'm like, okay, I found you. Let me reply to you. And let's see what you got. And if they come back with some facts, I'm like, all right, we got us a conversation. Yeah. If they just come back with, "Oh, you're just a Cowboys fan, you're an idiot," I'm like, okay, I haven't heard that before. You know what I mean? Like, come on, now give me something to talk about.
Reminds me of the kicker from Waterboy. Where's my bitch?
Where's my bitch?
That's the one, man. That's the one.
That's exactly right. And
like for me, I take the whole week, and before me and Gabe, either Thursday or Friday, we get up and talk with each other and see what we're going to talk about. I've already done all my research.
Yeah.
So I got fully loaded, extra clips waiting of ammunition, of information, so that I am on here knowing what I'm talking about. And if we get into some type of debate, discussion, disagreement, opinionated argument, whatever it could be, I'm well aware. And I'm well prepared to shoot those shots back. And if I lose that debate because I don't have enough stats, hey, that's on me.
Right.
Again, Eric, that just goes to show you the fact that he brought us on his show today. Sent us the link at Phil.
What are we talking about?
That's all strategy.
They were both 100% prepared, but they sent us the link 3 minutes before.
That was all strategy. That was part of the strategy. So.
And I think even with the minimal preparation, we pull it through, Ed.
That's right.
Every single-
Bottom line it, baby. Bottom line.
I
Much
love it.
respect to you guys, straight up. You know what worries me about, like, if I was somebody that didn't know what was going on, coming in just to, like, jumping into something like this, a debate with you two, is I get two different vibes here, man. Easy, I get this whole, like, you're going to make somebody who doesn't come in prepared feel stupid with your facts and your knowledge.
Yep.
Whereas Ed is going to top it off by making comments that's going to show everybody else why you should feel stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, half my brain tied behind my back just to make it fair. I'm going to use the common sense approach to make you feel
There you go,
stupid.
man.
And if I don't get the job done, in come the facts, baby.
That's the way
If
it goes, man.
if you come on our show and you are not prepared, okay, I am like a shark to blood, baby.
That's going to eat you alive.
I want to make you cry. I want to make you cry. But I would much rather have it. Somebody comes on our show and they're ready. Like they're ready, because that makes it fun for me.
It's so enjoyable. Yeah, when you actually have people that are debating with you and they're kicking actual knowledge and facts to you, then if somebody is like, well, no, you're wrong because you're stupid. Okay, but why am I stupid? Tell me why I'm wrong about this. Or just because you're an idiot. Okay, well, why is that? That's not fun. That's not fun.
No, I would much rather have somebody that comes and says, hey, here's why I believe the way I do and why I think you're wrong, and boom, 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 boom. Great.
Yeah.
Now I have my ammunition fully loaded.
Yeah, that's right.
You know?
He throws 75.3% accuracy at 14.5 yards. I mean, how do you argue with that?
I mean,
yeah.
you know, but that's the only way that if we want our shows and we want people listening and we want people, that's the only way you add legitimacy.
Yes.
If it was just us four coming on here and saying, well, I think the Dallas Cowboys suck. Well, I think Brock Purdy's okay, great. We're going to be on here for 20 minutes, and you're going to have 3 people watching, and they're doing nothing but trolling on the bottom.
Yeah.
But if you actually add substance to a show with some energy, and you know, like Daddy Ed. Daddy Ed he's the voice of reason, common sense. He never gets too worked up. Every once in a while, there's a big daddy rant on there. But outside of that, this guy keeps it together. You know, he's just nice and smooth.
It's not that hard, right, fellas? You know that. It's not that hard.
But for me,
Come at me,
I am at it, man.
Man, easy. Me and you, man, we got to talk, bro, because we're a lot alike, dudes. Like, straight up, man.
It's like, come on, baby. Let's get this rolling.
Yeah.
Dave, you want to know what the biggest disappointment for me was? The biggest disappointment was when we had Jersey lined up to come on the bottom line, and Dak Prescott lays a freaking egg in Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, we were ready. We were ready. So then what happens? Jersey comes in to the backstage, right? And I can tell right away. I said, hey, Jersey, how you doing? He's like, hey, man. How you doing? I'm like, great. Here we go. We're bringing on Jersey, and he's suicidal to begin with.
Damn. Oh, don't even. You ain't even got to tell me, y'all. I had to talk him off the ledge during the group chat during that damn game. I had to talk him and a couple of other fans off the ledge, and I'm telling them, y'all, it's one game.
I'm like, oh my God, this isn't even going to be hard. Jersey's defeated before he even
Stop James Cook. What the hell makes me think we're going to be able to stop Mostert and A-Chain?
That was good, man.
I had 3
But
pages.
Dave brought me back. He brought me back. That's my dog. That's my dog.
3 pages worth of ammunition ready to go, because I thought, hey, if Dallas goes into Buffalo, Jersey's going to be riding the high, baby. I don't care. Here's what we got. Here's what we got. And when they lost, when he was 10 of 17 for 59 yards in the third quarter, I'm like, this show's going to suck because Jersey's going to be suicidal. He's going to come on the show. And he's going to start the show with like, fellas, give me a reason not to kill myself. So I'm like, oh,
yeah, Eric and I put a top 10 list together. We were going to help Jersey make it easy, man. We was going to be.
Jersey had a notepad full of bullet points, and those bullet points were hot lead, ready to just light me up. He was ready on that one.
You were like, it was like if they were going hunting, bro, and they caught the trail of the deer. whatever they're hunting. But by the time they found you, you were already dying. And it was like, we didn't even shoot you yet. What are you doing? Get up and run at least. And Jersey's like, nah, I'm going to stay right here. Y'all go.
All
ahead.
I can say to Big Rig right now is I've been one of your biggest fans, Big Rig. Don't make me turn on you, big fella.
All right, guys. One of my favorite times of the show. Not even gonna lie, and I'm glad you guys are here for this. We got to do this quickly. We got some fan mail, y'all.
Nice.
My boy. Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about, Daddy Ed. That's what I'm talking about. He's into it. Let's go. This question is from one of our main mail time guys. He sends in fan mail all the time. My boy Hitting. He's asked, what are grounds for firing a coach? That depends on the games, or is it more than that?
I'd like to hear Ed's point on this one. Ed's opinion on this one.
I think games are a reflection of your coaching style, how you get your players ready to play. I think when you see teams come out flat, are you kidding me? An NFL game, and they talk about the team come out a little flat, that's your job. If you're a coach and you're a good coach and you're great at what you do, you don't have to get those players ready to play. You got a system in place that by the time the end of that week comes and it's time to hit the field, they're ready to go. Mm-hmm. I can't believe in football, especially, it's different with baseball, basketball. There's so many damn games that if you take a game off, 2 games off or whatever. Football, every game matters.
Yep.
You're talking 1 game a week. You've got 1 assignment as a player, and that's to be ready to go. And if you've got the right coaches, trainers, staff in place, you will have that player ready to go by game day. Any player that's not ready to play on game day, find another team, dude. And so number 1, it's to me, when it comes to a coach, well before they fire a coach whether he's done or not. Because all you have to do is watch this team play on Sunday.
Yeah.
And you can tell by what kind of fire they bring to the field whether that coach is doing his job or not. Because if the players like the coach, they'll run through fire for that guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. A great example of that a couple of weeks ago, Easy, real quick. Great example of that was a couple of weeks ago. I've been calling for Brandon Staley to be fired all year long. They waited until that embarrassment against the Raiders. And my takeaway watching that game was, to your point, Ed, was they quit. The players basically said, if you guys are not going to fire this man, we're just not going to play. We're going to walk out on the field and line up, but we're giving 0 execution and 0 effort.
I told Mama Bear that he is so fired after this game, and I said, I'm not so sure he won't be fired at halftime.
Yeah.
And then what does he do? He comes out after the game in an interview, and he says, well, if you've been a coach long enough, you know that these type of games are just going to happen. And I looked at Mama Bear and I said, he no more. He's not only fired, they're going to light a torch to the whole freaking organization. And what happened? The general manager goes right along with him because of his stupid comment.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I would tell you probably the biggest, if I had to attach one word to this question, and then I will give you an example, is culture. Culture in football, I don't care what level you're talking about, high school, middle school, high school, college, NFL. Culture is so important. And I will tell you, somebody who is a great example of that is Dan Campbell in Detroit.
Yes, yeah. I love what Dan Campbell is doing right now. I love
that dude is blue collar, and he has sold that. The rough, tough exterior. Yeah, I may not be the smoothest talking coach. I may not be the smartest coach, but God damn it, my players are going to play. And you know what he's done? He's done exactly that. Is it still smooth sailing? No, I mean, they're still Detroit at times. But I will tell you, Dan, he is a great example of why culture matters.
Yes.
And, I'll use my own team as an example. Matt Eberflus. You know what? He may be a defensive guy and everything, but what is the culture like? They can come to his defense and they can say all this and that, but man, if you don't have a culture, if you don't have something to rally around, dude, your team's dead in the water.
Yeah, exactly, Rick. Exactly, Rig. Look what D'Amico Ryan, perfect example. Rookie head coach, got a rookie starting quarterback, got a rookie captain as linebacker on defense, and look at the culture that's in that locker room.
Yes.
See a few of these coaches right now. Look at Shane Steichen in Indy. You know, he's got those guys playing their butts off for him with a backup quarterback and believing that they're going to get into the playoffs, man. And I mean, I just love that you brought up Campbell because I've been singing his praises all year long. As much as I don't think Detroit is up as a contender yet, by next year, he's going to have this team there.
Look at the culture for the Raiders just the last couple weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
They get a new coach and look what happens. I mean,
Doug Peterson in Jacksonville, look what he's done over the last couple seasons. There's a lot of coaches out there who they're just resonating with their teams.
And then you look at guys like Ron Rivera. This team doesn't go out there. You don't know what's the identity of this team. Nobody knows. We don't see them going out there every week excited. We don't see them going out there trying. You know what I mean? So while we do have some of those coaches that are bringing those great coaches, there's a reason why there's probably going to be about 6 teams looking for a head coach this offseason.
But don't you think it's a changing of the times, though? Mm-hmm. I mean, the NFL, they're slow to change.
Yeah.
So they're still trying to all these retreads that go from team to team to team. They're still trying to make it work.
Look at Belichick.
Eventually they're going to have to realize it's these young up-and-coming coaches that understand the younger generation, that know what makes them tick, to know how they can get the best of them on Sundays. The more you get players like that and coaches like that on the sideline, that's when the football will truly change. But not, as long as you're willing to stay with those retreads, man, that's where the snoozer games come from.
Players are not guys like Dick Butkus, Franco Harris. The players aren't that way anymore.
No,
right,
not at all.
And I don't mean this in a bad way, but on average, I would say the NFL player today is way more diva than any of those guys.
It's about like am I going to be on ESPN highlights tonight?
Yes,
that's what it is.
And so I think that it is those guys, those younger guys that understand how to connect to them. I mean, I cringe every time they say things like, "Well, Bill Belichick's been connected with the Bears. Let's get him." No, let's not get him. Okay, let's not get him.
No,
let's let him go out to pasture and
on to Minnesota.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think, Coach Belichick? What do we got to do to turn these things around? On to Minnesota. As a fan, man, I'm going to be all behind that. I'm going to be like, God, I can't wait till they play next time.
I'm going to start dressing like Bill Belichick and just wear a hoodie every week.
Hey. I got it. I got the hoodie right here, baby.
I love it.
I look at the biggest thing, I think, and Colin Cowherd talked about this. He's talked about this a couple times. Is I think one of the biggest keys for NFLs today is 1, the culture. 2, you got to have an offensive dude, man.
Yeah.
The league is about offense. I mean, listen, all the advantages have been given to the offense. They have. I mean, you look at the PI calls. Some of the phantom PI calls that get thrown out there, and some that don't. I get it, but it's been given all to the offense. So why, in God's name, unless they are just a surefire, it's going to happen? Why are you not getting offensive guys? When they hired Matt Eberflus, I'm like, he's a defensive guy. We have Justin Fields. Don't you want to find a guy that you want to find out if we can really develop this quarterback or not? No, let's get Matt Eberflus in there. And it's just, you got to change, man. You got to change. Like he pointed out, 12, I think it was 12 of the 14. He might. I mean, the dude's like 75 years old.
JP, we love you, man. We love you. You know what's happening right now? Jesse's looking at it. They're looking at the, and he's going, "Damn, he's still on yet."
Let's move on to question two, guys. Do y'all feel like players get more criticized for bad games than coaches do?
Absolutely. Well, I think, and for my part, if y'all don't mind if I go first, I think a lot of it depends on execution. Because when you look at, let's say, Let me just go back to the very first game as an example of between Philadelphia and Dallas in Philadelphia. Anybody who watched that game clearly sees that Dallas kind of the game plan overall kind of outplayed Philly. The difference was Dallas didn't.
Jeez. Sorry, dude. I just read that. I didn't mean to sound like
Hit. Damn. That was hard right there, man.
Chrome Dome.
I'll come on. Everybody's coming for you today. Baby. Everybody's coming for you today. But if you go back and watch that game, you see that everything in the game plan for Dallas was working. Everything was going good. It was just the execution by the players. And when we were talking about the coaches a while ago, you could see that it was, when we were talking about the coaches, sometimes when it's a lack of execution by the players and not on the coach, then you can usually fix that. The week or two later, the players get it back on point. All right. But in the long run, it's always the coach when you can tell that they're just not ready. Nobody's ready. You're losing games. You're missing out on the playoffs all these years. But I don't know, man. I really feel like I'm sorry. I'm reading some of these comments too.
Well,
I really feel like the players, though, a lot of times, especially the offensive players, are the ones that are going to take more of the beat down. I mean, you guys know this, and I will say it as a Dallas Cowboys fan, Dak Prescott either has to be perfect or, it's not good enough for him. Like when he was being a game manager in the first part of the season, what was everybody saying? Oh, yeah, they're winning games, but, it's because of the defense. It's not because of Dak.
Well,
you know what I mean? And I'm not saying I'm not bringing that up. I do it just as a Cowboys fan because of I see the amount of the energy, how it changes for different players. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think the Brock Purdy thing is another one. You know what I mean? When they were losing on that 3-game win streak, I was guilty of that. Where I was like, "Oh, see, where's Brock Purdy now?" You know what I mean? And now he's winning. Now what are we saying? Oh, it's on the defense of the players.
But that's the way football turning into today's culture. The players are their own worst enemy, because if I'm gonna stop a run play after a gain of 5 yards, and I'm going to get up and pound my chest and act like it's the best thing since sliced bread that I made that tackle.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden when there's a 20, 25-yard play, where were you at?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if you want to shine the light on you, you got to be ready to have the light shining the whole time.
And I would say,
those players whose teams are down by 20 points and they get a sack and they're like, yeah.
Well, look at
Austin. How about Austin Eckler against the Raiders?
Austin Eckler in the fourth quarter, they're down 520-3. He gets a first down and gets up and pounds his chest and acts like the first down's the best thing since sliced bread. And I mean, some players get it, some players don't. And I mean, that you talk about a chump move.
I would tell you this. I think the reason I would say it's probably both in this sense. I think offensive players, because they tend to be the ones that people focus on. Mm-hmm. The receivers, the running back, the quarterback. But I think when a defense plays bad, I think that falls on the defensive coordinator more than it does the players. So I think it's kind of depends on what side of the ball you're on. I think offensive players take more of a hit individually, but I think defensive coordinators take more of a hit, team-wise.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Let's go back to the Buffalo game that y'all loved just to remind us about a while ago. But I mean, let's be honest though. I everything I've seen is bashing the Dallas defense on the field for not stopping the run, and instead it's like Dan Quinn. And I think for Cowboys fans, it's that I trust Dan Quinn to change it. But where was Dan Quinn's adjustments in that game? Right. You know what I mean? Right. Where was the adjustments? There was none.
So in this case, if you look at a week ago, Minnesota's playing Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. They hold Cincinnati to 3 points through 3 quarters. Cincinnati's not sniffing nothing. So then in the fourth quarter, you get up 17-3. What changed? Why should you change anything?
Yeah.
We stopped them the whole game. Why do you need to change a defensive scheme? But instead, what happens? They go into the old prevent defense because we got a 2-touchdown lead now. And all they do is march up and down the field the whole fourth quarter, and the Vikings lose in overtime. It's like, I'm just your average Joe sitting on the couch,
losing your mind.
Degree, I don't have any college background, no nothing, but I see the flow of the game.
Yeah.
How I'm just sitting there screaming at the screen, so what in the hell's going on? And if we can see it sitting on the couch, I'll never understand why the elite coaches in the NFL can't see the flow of a game and why they make stupid changes when they don't need to.
Going back to what you said about Dan Quinn, Gabe. Again, I'm not a Dallas Cowboy fan, but I can see this. Dallas's team is built like this. They're built to get a lead. They're built to force the other team to pass, and that's their strength.
Yes.
Yep.
Buffalo, unfortunately, has given people now a blueprint that if Dan Quinn does not address, man, that's
Well,
going to put some pressure.
one thing I will give Dan Quinn, though, in his time there, that and there's a reason they haven't lost back-to-back games this year, is because he's done very good at looking at what went wrong for the defense the week before and saying, okay, we need to fix that now. Now, like you said, they're not. It's not like after the Niners game how they got to beat down on New England. They're coming off a Buffalo game now where they got to go into Miami.
Yeah.
And that who's got a running back that is running through people right now. So, yes, to your point, it's going to be very interesting to see if that's a blueprint that's going to be able to stick or not. But some coaches, like going back to what Ed was saying, how many times have you seen it? And, God, I used to go crazy about this with Kellen Moore, where a coach tries to look smarter than he needs to be. Like where they say, okay, everything is working now. Look what we're going to do in the second half. We're not going to keep doing what we're doing, even though we got a big lead, because they're going to expect that. They're going to adjust. We're going to be a step ahead of them, and we're going to change it up. Why? And it would end up backfiring every single time on Kellen Moore. Team would get back in the game. And it drives me crazy when coaches do that, because it's like, let them prove that they could stop what you're doing first before you try to be this guy who's going to say, well, I'm going to be a step ahead. No.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I think that was the Minnesota game. I think he all of a sudden said, I'm going to be smarter than you, and I'm going to switch it up to zone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just got picked apart like they weren't even on the field.
Isn't it amazing how fast you can go down the field when you're getting 15, 20 yards at a crack?
Yeah.
No, you're in the red zone like that.
Look
we're keeping
how
the clock running, but you're only keeping the clock running for like 2 or 3 minutes.
Look how fast New Orleans got back in the game on Thursday night the other night against the Rams.
Right.
The Rams were rolling them. All of a sudden, they go into a prevent. New Orleans rolls that right down the field
and almost came back and won.
Sometimes these coaches can try to be a little smarter than they need to be.
I've always called the prevent defense the prevent a win.
Yeah,
that's what happens a lot.
And as fans, right, guys, it is so frustrating watching your team sitting in a prevent.
Yeah,
like,
I hate it. You're giving up short yards.
Yeah,
you're giving up the short yard pass, which is eventually going to get a big gain. And I just hate it. I just hate it. All right, question 3, guys. This is a good one. College football talk. How much pressure is college football in right now with the whole Pac-12 thing going on? Basically, how's the Pac-12 going to look next year? That's a great question, Hit.
There is no Pac-12 this year.
There's like a Pac-4 in there.
Yeah,
it's like a Pac.
And it's going to be Pac-2.
We're going to be there either.
Yeah, the Pac-2. I mean,
Stanford, Cal. No, it is Pac-4. Sorry, Oregon State, Washington State, Stanford, and Cal are the only.
2 of those are going to be gone after next year.
And look at what's happening. I've been preaching to you guys about the ACC being weak. Now Florida State wants out because they know after this year, if we can't get in being in the ACC this year, we'll never get in. So now they're trying to get out. ACC's trying to find them $130 million exit fee to get out. You can't tell me when Florida State gets out, whether they go to the SEC or Big Ten, they're going to go to one of the two. They are.
Yeah.
Maybe even happen to the ACC. The ACC is going to start falling apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to eventually get these super conferences.
It's
just about these super conference.
It's all tucked away right in here. What the master plan?
Yeah, we're going to have to get on this conversation at some point
down
the road.
It's all tucked away right here. I should write it down. And seal it with Ed's tinfoil tape. Just set it off to the side.
Titanium steel.
Yeah, titanium steel, whatever you want to call it. But it's all right here because I'm telling you, there is a master plan. I firmly believe that because right now college football will not survive when you have, what are we down to now? The Power 4 conferences. And when Florida State leaves the ACC, listen, that's a wasteland. So now we're down to the Power 3. And we don't know how the Big 12 is going to shake out as far as, what teams are going to, rise to the top. Could it be Colorado? I said, heck, I was having this conversation with a buddy of mine the other day. I said, you know what? With the 12-team playoff coming, I said, Iowa State could be more relevant than they've ever been in the past.
The Big 12 could be more relevant.
Yes, but Iowa State, if they can somehow get to be one of the top tier teams, they could be popping into the playoff. Sorry, Ed, way more than the Iowa Hawkeyes ever thought of being, because they're going to get buried in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
they're going to get buried in the Big Ten
with all those new teams coming into the Big Ten this upcoming season.
All these
teams. Yeah, I think the Big Ten West just got a little stronger.
And I believe, in my wholehearted opinion, let's not look at the Big 12 as a crumbling conference. USC or UCF, excuse me, made it to a bowl game this season in their first season in the Big 12. Houston did okay in their first season in the Big 12. So with Colorado coming back, Texas and Oklahoma leaving, that gives you new powerhouses in the Big 12.
Yeah, are they truly powerhouses?
Well, yeah, exactly, Ed. That's what I was saying. Like the real test is going to come to non-conference
teams.
Yeah,
that gets us to the same argument when they come down to the playoffs.
Wait, Ed. So basically, what you just made the argument is that Iowa, as Colin Cowherd said, Iowa is the fake ID of college football.
Hey, the only reason
because their record every year is padded.
I'm not an Iowa homer. I'm a realist, because if anybody that knows Big Daddy Ed has been talking to me during the season, one hand I was touting the big Iowa wins, and in the other hand I was going, oh no, please don't get into the Big Ten championship game, because you know what's going to happen. It's like, but that was the Big Ten's fault. That's the Big Ten's fault for putting that kind of arrangement together. But now that they've got more teams coming in, hopefully the divisions are going to be more.
And like in order for them to be powerhouses, it's going to all depend on the non-conference schedule when they play against some of those really elite teams.
How do they measure up?
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
I mean, I can be 11-1 in the Big 12, but if I'm playing Kellogg State and the dental office or whatever, I mean, what the hell does that mean?
Right. But the thing you have to understand is this: what changes it now for some of the Big 12 teams, whoever ends up surfacing toward the top echelon, let's just say the top 4 teams in the Big 12, whoever that ends up being, I don't know who it's going to be. That changes recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That changes recruiting.
Yeah.
So Colorado changes recruiting.
If Deion Sanders is more toward the transfer portal than he is recruiting, but he's got like the 98th best recruiting class.
Not this year.
No.
Know how many number 1 recruits are in the top 300? Let's just say in the top 3. You know how many in the top 300 he's had go from major schools?
Couple, but yeah, what he's saying is, he is hitting that transfer portal though. He is.
What I'm saying
he definitely is. But his recruiting class this season compared to what it was last season, this upcoming season, his recruiting class is going to be out of this world. He's already pulling top 25.
If you take away the transfer portal right now, if you just take away the transfer portal moves, his recruiting class is like 92nd. When you add the transfer portal in, it skyrockets.
Yeah.
So Deion Sanders is more focused on those guys that maybe they played at Maryland. That's a good dude, but he was stuck at Maryland.
Yeah, but you're assuming though that if he's using the trans portal, yes, because he can get what he wants.
Right.
If he had to rely on, if there wasn't a transfer portal, do you really think he'd be 98th in recruiting?
No, I'm just saying that's where he's at now.
Yeah.
I'm just
but don't say without the transfer portal he's 98th, because
he is.
There wasn't
by the numbers.
There's tons of kids that want to play for Deion Sanders now. Tons of kids. And that's why I'm saying you have kids who've already committed to Alabama. They already committed to Georgia. They already committed to Ohio State. And then they said, "Nah, I want to go play for Deion."
Well, he did lose a couple of commits too, though.
Yes, he did lose a couple.
I will be glad to lose those commits to get a commit from Georgia.
All I got to say is those kids, be careful what they wish for, because if they want to play for Dion, they better be ready to bring it. Because if they're not willing to give 100% every hour of every day, he'll show them the door, man.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like the entire offensive line was shown basically the door, because in the transfer portal, he has basically replaced the entire offensive line.
That's where he's smart using this as a new tool, because he's like, look, I'm getting guys that I don't even have to mold and try to, get them onto. They could come in, they're ready to play. They're ready to play.
All we gotta do is just show them the system.
Dion is I'm a biggest fan of Dion's, because in today's wussification of America, you got to start making this younger generation realize that you got to be the best you can be every day, every second of every day, or America's in trouble. And right now, all we are is a feel-good country. And until you start,
we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
That's right.
Participation, baby.
Everyone realizes that you got to bring out the best in everybody to make this country what it needs to be. I mean, Dion, if he's not a poster boy for that, what is?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with that, 100%.
All right. Well, there you go. Hit the Pac-12 will be no more, as far as we know.
Yeah, it's
last question, and Hit knows Gabe does not like predictions.
I don't like Super Bowl predictions. I do not.
Like will Gabe be fired after today?
I'm watching the clock right now. I'm like, all right, Jersey, how many questions did Hit give us?
That's right. I thought it was the top 3, and we're like in 15 right now.
Do you want? He said, do y'all wish to see in the next or after the season? Wait.
Do y'all wish to see next
season after the Super Bowl? Do you want to see more rookies get more shine, or do you want veteran players to show more effort?
Whoever earns it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whoever earns it.
Listen, it's Bill Parcells.
I do agree.
Yeah.
It's Bill Parcells.
Yes.
You are what your record says you are.
Yep.
Absolutely. I've said that 50 million times. You are what your record says you are.
Your record says you are. So I don't care if it's 5 rookies, 1 rookie, all veterans, no veterans. You are what your record says you are, and that's what I want.
But the NFL protects itself. They want everyone to think that to be a star NFL player, you got to put in your time. Because this year, when they started saying C.J. Stroud for NFL MVP, I'm sitting here, that's a pipe dream. That's never going to happen.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you. Somebody agrees with me.
Is never going to allow a rookie to come into the big NFL and be an MVP, because you got to earn your stripes first, fella.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Ed. Thank you. I've been saying that this year. I said, I'm cool with him getting the Offensive Rookie of the Year. He locked that up weeks ago. I'm cool with that. But MVP, I'll just slow down. CJ Stroud ain't there yet.
No, and I agree. And I was one of those people who was like, but Gabe, look what he's doing. He's like, but Jersey, we're talking about the NFL here. And I had to sit back and I had to think about it, like, you know what? You're absolutely right. Because last year, they wasn't going to allow Jalen Hurts to come off of a bad season and have such a great season and win the Super Bowl. No, you'll get there. You'll even get the MVP award if we want, but you ain't going to win the Super Bowl. And what happened? He didn't win that Super Bowl.
Now, see, and like you guys said, you are who your record says you are. There are teams that are going to need more rookies starting. Let's just be honest. They're going to be teams that, are going to need more rookies, or they're going to be hitting the free agency for veterans, maybe to fill depth. Like I said, it all depends. You know what? If somebody in cap shows out, and I've got a veteran out playing our number 1 pick in training camp, I am all for the veteran starting. I don't care.
Absolutely.
You put in the best player. Like I have to deal with this Cowboys fans talking about Deuce Vaughn. Yes, we were all excited about Deuce Vaughn. Well, you know what, y'all? There is a reason people like Deuce Vaughn are not suiting up every Sunday. Okay? Because they're not seeing it on the field at the practice level. And if the coaches aren't seeing it, at some point we just have to trust it. But I'm like, I don't care. If a rookie's going to outshine the veteran, then you put the rookie in, and vice versa, man. Like, it doesn't matter to me as long as they're putting the better player, at least for that time, on the field.
I mean, CJ Stroud, for instance.
Yeah.
Davis Mills is the veteran player. He has more NFL experience. But
In
CJ
line to this, I gotta know, Easy. I gotta know. As a
Okay.
Bears fan, okay?
Oh,
we
boy.
won't get into a topic. It's just I gotta know. If y'all have an opportunity, are you taking Caleb?
Well, believe it or not, I have gone through this scenario in my head probably 200 times. I think the Bears have two options in front of them, and I'm sure whichever option is the worst, that's the one they'll take. But they have two options in front of them. Because we do. We screw it up every time. So
Y'all need
my two options in my head are this. If you believe that Justin Fields, is the guy, then I think you take that first pick and you go to the New England Patriots and you say, here's the deal. Okay. If we'll trade the number one pick to you for this, and this, and you guys will get Caleb Williams, or if you don't, we're going to take Caleb Williams. So they're going to strong arm him, but they'll get a load for it. Just like we did last year. They'll get a load for it. And then they'll take Marvin Harrison. They'll take Marvin Harrison Jr. with that second or third, whichever way they go. And then, we got the fifth right now or the sixth pick, whatever. That's the first option.
Yeah.
The second option is, if they really believe that Caleb Williams is that generational talent that you absolutely cannot pass over, they'll take him with the first pick, and then they'll probably take, I think the edge rusher from Alabama has come up. They'll do something along those lines. Do I think that Justin Fields is our answer? I'm sorry, I don't, because the same things, for all the good that he can be, the same things continue to pop up time after time after time.
Durability one.
Well, you
just got no accuracy. This boy,
that downfield accuracy is an issue, and that you figure after this song it would have improved it.
It's not even just the downfield. One of these games, a couple weeks ago in a game, he literally has a wide open receiver and he throws it behind him like, my man's running this way.
Yep.
And you throw the ball back here, and that's the receiver's fault. You're yelling at the receiver. Oh, you were supposed to do it. No, I ran my route. I'm wide open right here. Hello.
Yeah.
And sitting there laughing, getting the kick out of you going off, man. I love it.
And that's why.
At the end of the day, that's one of the things I tried to sit here and argue and try to help this man, Justin Fields. I try to go to bat for you, Justin.
It makes it easier to be a Vikings fan when I know that he can still miss wide open receivers because we know that we don't have much for a defensive secondary, so we'll take any help we can.
And that's why I wanted to ask you, Easy, because I'm in your mindset the same way, but I'm on the outside looking in, so I wanted to get it from an actual fan. But yeah, I think because if you miss on this decision to keep Fields there and you pass on Caleb, this opportunity might not come back again.
They're almost be getting along because Easy's wife, she's yelling up the stairs, get your down here.
My phone is about to die, and I'm like, I just went through an entire battery on my phone because Ed said, hey, Jersey said it's going to be a short show. It's going to be a short show. So I'm like, all right, I won't get on my computer this time. I'll just use my phone. And here we are, 2 hours and 23 minutes into it, and my phone is yelling at me like, dude, you're about to just go dark.
I got to get out of here, man. Straight up, I got to get out of here.
We do have some more topics to get into, but we're going to save them for next week, guys. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this week. This was an awesome show. Thank you, Daddy Ed. Thank you, Easy E.
Thank you, guys,
for joining us.
You bet. Love every minute, guys.
Love you guys anytime, man. Anytime.
Never believe Jersey. Don't believe it when he says something like that, okay? That's my biggest troll, but that's my dog. He's one of my close friends.
One thing, though. The bottom line show's usually on Monday nights, but this next week, with it being Christmas, I ain't going to let Mama Bear kill me for having a Monday night show. So
we thought about it.
Teaming up with the X-Fan show, we're having a Wednesday night special, hopefully to cover the 10-player draft in the XFL, hopefully.
Right.
The 10-player draft. I love it. But you guys know what it is, man. Make sure you go and drop a follow to my boy Gabe and his podcast, Gridiron Nation podcast. Send your fan mail questions to gridironnationpodcast@gmail. Follow him on all social media as well. Daddy Ed,
Gridiron Nation.
go ahead. You and Easy, go ahead and plug the Bottom Line show as well.
We're on Monday nights at 8:00. Again, this next show will be moved to Wednesday at 8. We're going to kind of team up with the X-Fan show and do a holiday special on Wednesday night. But normally we're on Monday nights at 8:00. You can follow me at Ed Ployer on Facebook. You can also go to Ed Ployer90 on Instagram, which is a hell of a lot more than what I said last time. Last time I was on your show, I went blank, and I couldn't even say what my name was, let alone anywhere. So anyway, Eric, it's up to you. Hey, and just for Easy takes us home, Gabe, if you need us to send a reference to your boss or give him a call and tell him, please don't fire him.
We're in, bud. We're in. We'll do some crying for you.
Got your back. I'll come and work an hour for you.
I appreciate that.
I won't be able to do much with one arm, but I
might have y'all do a video crying like you just don't know how much he saved our week this week. It meant a lot. It meant a lot.
He plugged your business like 4 or 5 times, man. It was like free advertising. Like, just like, man, the dude was like,
He held you down. He held you down today.
Yeah, he loves you guys, man. Like,
you fire him.
Get fired, man.
In front of your store.
Please buy 3 shirts instead of 2, or I'm going to get fired. Please,
right.
But no, I'm yelling, y'all. Please don't show up today. I want to do
But I'm not
Easy. Where can they find you, Easy?
They can find me, Eric Murtu, on Facebook. That's the biggest thing. I'm not a big Twitter guy. Because I find like when I get on Twitter and things like that, it just becomes a huge argument with trolls and things like that. But one thing I do want to say, guys, this is a great show. It was entertaining. It was a lot of fun. But these are the types of things that I think, again, we do it all for free. We devote our time to it. Guys, anybody listening, anybody who watched the podcast today, I'm telling you, this is what's going to help promote the UFL more than anything else. Yeah, so, guys, if you want to know about the UFL, you get on the Gridiron. You get on Gridiron Nation. You come to the Bottom Line. You support those shows because this is what's going to keep it alive, at least for the fans. Because from what I've seen so far, it's not going to be the league itself. It's stuff like this.
Yeah.
Greatly said.
Stuff like this.
Well said.
Don't forget, anybody in the Houston area, January 13th, join Rig Rocker and other super fans of the XFL, as well as X-Fan Show members, possibly. We got a lot going on. Make sure you guys are down in the Houston area. If you were around the Houston area, January 13th, they're doing a fundraiser for the Houston area women's shelter. So definitely go out there and support what we're doing and make sure you guys show that love because it's definitely needed. But get with my man Rig Rockers. He will get you all the information. If you want to sign the Houston Roughnecks petition, get with him. If you want to sign the Vegas Vipers petition, even though it's probably not even going to be needed anymore, whatever, go ahead and do so. It's on my Facebook page. And you guys already know. Check out Daddy Ed and Easy E on the Bottom Line this Wednesday because of Christmas at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Adjust your clocks accordingly. And catch my man Double G, Gabe Garcia, on Gridiron Nation podcast this Tuesday, correct?
Yes, Tuesday.
I don't know if it's going to be audio or if it's going to be live. Just stay tuned.
You just don't know. You got to follow my social medias if y'all want to know.
So if you need those social medias again, there they are right there. And again, guys, thank you for choosing the Gridiron as your weekly Saturday show every Saturday morning at 10 p.m. PST or 10 a.m. Excuse me. Don't worry about me. I'm a little old. I want to thank you guys again. Thank our special guests, Daddy Ed and Easy E.
Thank you.
From the Bottom Line podcast show.
This was fun.
Great,
a lot of fun, guys.
Great show, guys.
Appreciate it. Great show.
Definitely appreciate you guys having me on your show. Can't wait till me and Gabe both get to come on and we get to have some fun with you guys as well. We're going to definitely set that up. So you guys already know be on the lookout for future shows with special guests, different podcast hosts as well. We like to get into these different debates and things like this because it makes it more fun and it brings out more about what we're talking about. So again, thank you guys for being here. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, any holiday you celebrate around this time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
May we wish you the best to you, all your families. Miss Queen Hyena, Amanda, thank you for being here. Dirty, thank you for being here. Odin, thank you for being here.
Too, Daja.
Everybody who showed up.
Everybody.
Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays. This is the Gridiron Podcast Show live from Gridiron Nation in Las Vegas,
Hey,
Nevada.
y'all, no matter what, I know, y'all, it's a stressful time of year, okay? It is, but it can also be a great time of year, man. So, y'all, this coming holiday week, please, no matter what you do, find your place of zen, all right? And no
Gabe.
matter what life's going to throw at you, do what, Jersey? Just like in the words of the great Bruce Lee, all y'all got to do is evolve, flow right around it, and just be water,
And
my
be
friend.
water, my friends.
Don't sell some shit, Gabe.
I'm going.
We will see you all next week, man. Thank you for being here on the Gridiron Podcast Show. Holla at your boys.